notification on your phone?
Yeah, I got the live joint.
I bet. Upcoming. It's setting up right now.
Right.
My personal laptop, I think, is on the way out, so I had to bring my job shit home if the lighting look crazy. All right, we
official. Yeah.
No shit.
Mute that. We got there. Coop already pulling in. We gonna get to him in a second. Got it.
Yes, sir.
All right, we on decky.
Apologize for our lateness, y'all. Y'all know about life getting away.
Coop already pulling in. Hey, listen. We on CPT, bro. Don't even worry about that.
Yes, man. They know. They right with us.
You know what I mean? Adriel Green pulling in. Latoria pulling in. Hassan Sykes already on deck. I like it. I like it a lot, actually. What up, y'all? What up?
What's good? It's good, family.
It's good, gang. How y'all feeling? Happy Monday and all that.
We gonna do our Chicago Bulls star lineup in a split second. I just gotta, do the link thing. Make sure the people's on the socials know we on deck.
Yeah.
You know what it is.
He got his cape on today, y'all.
Yes.
He came prepared. Okay.
I'm not even mad at that.
Fully tighty.
Usually I get annoyed by that shit, but I'm not even mad at it today. I'm gonna come clean.
Yo, you know what's funny? I was just thinking about the first time I pulled this shirt out.
Mm-hmm. How disgusting that was.
This was like year one, but I had it on under a hoodie, and we was doing some type of Nas segment, and you didn't know. I had the shirt, so I took the hoodie off.
Popped out the hoodie.
To go full out caped on and shit.
I was sick. Legitimately sick
man.
Too. Like I couldn't even fake that.
That was a good time. Yo, you were so tight, bro. It's like this motherfucker.
Like the nerve of you to pull out a shirt. Deanie on deck. All right, so we could do our starting lineup.
All right, pull up, Dean.
But Deanie on deck. Oh, everybody in the crib. My class got canceled because I thought I was gonna be on campus. Deanie in the crib, sitting in the crib.
It's good.
Big Dean.
The force is with us today.
I know the vibes. What's good, my brothers?
You was off today too, Dean?
I banged it, bro.
That's what I'm talking about, Deanie.
I had to take some shit, man. I'm here, my bros,
man. Dean finally said it, man. He said, "Fuck,
I'm on go time."
I've been bugging Dean to stealing his square at work for mad law. That's the fuck I'm talking about.
I'm on go time, baby. I'm on go time.
Shitting me?
Rap round table shit.
Don't put some respect on your name. Big Deanie. 2023 energy.
Huh?
Big Deanie. Nigga, pause.
Address me as such. Pause.
What's
the vibe?
Adriel Green, what it is, boy?
Yo, Adriel in the spot. What up?
What's good, y'all?
Super chat on deck
already.
I see.
Appreciate you,
Lionel in here, LB in here. You know the team is
for y'all
coming off of a beautiful weekend.
You already know the vibes.
Energy still with us. It's electric.
Yo, big, and you know what? We doing it right. You know, it's only right that coming off Nas weekend, we gonna call it. We got a special guest. You know, come off. We got WCW coming over to WWF tonight. You know what I'm saying? But as always, it's your boy John here alongside Sincere the Rap Snob.
What up?
Alongside Deanie the Balance. Alongside the homie Mace, who was outside. The people said they saw Macito and Sweet Chan.
You dig?
You know what I mean?
My boy.
Rap Roundtable is in the building. Monday night Q&A. And you already know the vibe. Real quick, Miss LB, I know you saw that tweet. I know you liked it. I had to post a little Hove joint. And that was a true story. I was literally playing Hove on the way to the garden. I had to cleanse myself before I stepped into the garden. You know what I mean? Bathed in holy water before I stepped into the garden. Huh?
Had to get his energy right, man.
In the waters of Lake Minnetonka.
Purified itself.
Without further ado, we got the starting lineup out the way.
Yes.
We got a very, very, very special guest pulling into the Rap Round Table from according to hip hop around the corner up the block. He's getting his connection right as we speak. You know what I mean?
Sir.
As he, y'all watch the show. Y'all know sometimes his connection be a little shaky. We hope the internet's all right tonight. You know what I mean?
What's going on?
Yo.
Hey,
what up?
Big
Coop.
Wait a second. Is that Coop's music?
Hold on. Hold on. First of all, that don't be me. That be Mike's connection.
Oh shit! Top rope.
No,
man.
That do be Mike's connection because a lot of time Mike is broadcasting from the facility, and there's other like broadband and width because it's a big business plaza, and there's other people within the business complex in there. So a lot of the time the connection get lost in there. It's usually better when he's broadcasting from the crib. But I do live out in the fucking woods though. Like, don't get it twisted. It's like the woods.
Yeah.
How y'all
Shout
doing?
out to the homie Coop. Long awaited, long overdue on the rap round table.
Sir.
My guy, as our guest, the floor is yours. Let us know your firsthand perspective of MSG, Esco, King's Disease trilogy. Talk to us.
Well, just first off, I want to say, like, shout out to y'all. I think, we ran into each other after the show. I was walking with y'all. We was having a conversation just about like how things move in our respective cities. And, y'all have the fortune, I think, because it's the Mecca, like in a positive way, of people like always being honest with you guys about your shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like I can see where the critical analysis like truly comes from now.
Yeah,
like I just can, like, because I heard all types of shit. Like everybody was showing me love, but it was like an honest type of love. Like, and I appreciate the love. So I think the first thing that I notice is that, like, well, y'all are in a culture that believes in lying to the people. You know what I'm saying? And so the energy that I felt in the building at MSG, it was like really sincerely like real and exciting, I can say. You know what I'm saying? So the first thing that I felt was everybody's like energy. The energy in the building was good. Didn't y'all feel the same way? Like the energy?
Nah, it was immense, man. It was immense.
Was absolutely electric, bro. And just a quick segue, because I don't think we addressed Adriel Green's super chat that's sitting there. For y'all native New Yorkers, as you just said, Coop, that energy had to hit different the other night. And that's absolutely correct. Like, as New Yorkers, as being residents of the Mecca, like we always feel that energy, bro, like that we carry that with us. And sometimes it rubs people the wrong way, especially people from outside New York, but we always gonna feel like we have a little extra to say about the culture, about, what's going on, about these artists, you know what I mean? And as a native New Yorker being in the building at MSG, which is also regarded as a type of Mecca, energy was immense. It was like, it was palpable. It was electric, man. Like, you had to love it, man. You had to love it. Dean?
The building shook, man. Electric, immense. It was amazing. Like, first of all, my man sold his shit out. We got to talk about the sellout part. You know what I'm saying? That's immense. There was niggas who fronted, but he did it. It was beautiful, man. I want to get into the whole, the features and all that, and all the other things, but just palpable is a great word, bro. It's the people in the building rapping the lyrics, Nas up there by himself, like literally just one man show, no opening type shit, just straight, just energy, bro. Like damn near cried on the fucking stage. Just I was just happy to be there, bro. I ain't gonna hold you, man.
Hey, look. Shout out to Coop. I like that he got a taste of New York City in its purest form. Friday night, Esco in town. I appreciate that. I appreciate that you started to get a good idea of where our personalities and our earnestness comes from when it comes to this rap shit. But I gotta be honest with you, Coop. I gotta be honest.
Go ahead.
I had to tie my cape on a little bit tighter after that show. After I left y'all and I got in the whip, I felt a little dirty. I felt a little dirty. And that cape had to go back on. But guys, since you was running the point, I just had to grab the ball like real quick.
This ain't the time for that, man. This ain't the time for that.
I still feel a little dirty. I ain't gonna lie.
You feel infected?
Hold on.
Go wash yourself off. Pause, man.
Hey.
Let me culture, man.
Let me
the culture hit you.
Go take a dip in the waters of Lake Minnetonka real quick.
Had to go to the Lazarus pit, get my life back because I was off balance, boy.
Hey, Jar, let me
Mace. Go ahead. Cool.
No. I just want to kind of submit something to him because a lot of what I heard is that because I just started telling cats when I was up there, I was like, I really wasn't expecting all the love like this, and niggas was rolling up on me. And it was like, but she's a rap nigga, Coop. It was like everybody down there is not a rap nigga. It's like not a lot of rap niggas down here. And so Jar, like, I hear what you're saying, but it's like you as a New Yorker and it's somebody that's like as familiar with this culture as you are, it's like, well, you can't tell me you didn't feel like when Represent is like banging through the speakers like that, or like when he's doing Memory Lane acapella. So it's like you can't feel but so dirty because there's some core fundamental like pure hip hop that's going on.
Let me tell you what Jar felt. Jar felt made you look 100%. Because I was standing right next to him. So he might not admit it.
He was singing along. He was singing along.
He was lying, y'all. But the first joint, I swear to God, as soon as Thun wrapped up, he said, "Yo, run that shit back, bro. Run it back."
Listen, I'm gonna come clean.
Let me ask you something.
Go ahead, cool.
I have to ask all of y'all this, and I was meaning to ask y'all this when we ran into each other, and I mean this because I love the record. What is it with New Yorkers and Thun specifically? Can you explain it to me? Like, why is it Thun specifically? Because for me, I prefer legit and I prefer 30. I do.
You want me to go sit or you got it?
I can start. Number one, it's just the name of the song. Title. Right. Thun that's New York, and not even all of New York. That's specifically Queens. Queens shit. And like, just seeing that as the title of the song, immediately we already have some type of high expectations.
Right.
And when you hear the song, and there's I don't know what it is about the song. I don't know if it's the tempo. I don't know if it's there's a specific sample in there, the UFO sample that's very prevalent in a lot of old school New York records. But there's something about that record that feels heavily and specifically New York, and it absolutely resonates. And when he I feel like out of all the songs that he did from the KD trilogy, I think Thun was the most electric one in the building. Like it just I felt it, flowing through me like it was crazy. It was like going say on and shit.
Like I say this respectfully, y'all treat it like. I mean this in high regard. Y'all treat it like one of those epic Mobb Deep tracks from back in the day.
Like that's what I was gonna say. Like,
is that the vibe for y'all? Is it like that classic Mobb Wu? When
it comes to that, it was a formula that New York had like a while ago when we was much younger. Before the radio record, it was a street record that could play in a club. You get what I'm saying? That was a lot of times that was a street single before you got your radio single. Mm-hmm. So Thun is super nostalgic on that feel of something that you could bop to, something that is hard, but you could bop to it. A chick could fake dance to it. If you was in the tunnel many moons ago, you're playing Thun. And then of course, it does feel like Havoc produced that shit. I always say like Hit Boy is a great chameleon. When he gets around New York and East Coast cats, his ability to be a chameleon is second to none, in my opinion, right now, because for him to transform what he did with Benny on Burden of Proof, what he's done with Nas, and then with Thun specifically, like, say now we don't have credits and you hear this beat and there's no Hit Boy sample that let you know it's him on that beat, right? Do you think that's a Hit Boy beat? No. The drums aren't Hit Boy. The tempo's not Hit Boy. That sounds like it came, even like when I first played it in the car on my big speakers, I thought something was wrong with my speakers because the way it was hitting, I got so used to the 808s that these drums, I haven't heard these drums in 20 years. So I'm like, wait a minute. This is really a New York record. And then when you heard it in the Garden, cool. Again, cape was off. I lost my cape at that moment. I said, run that back. To me, outside of Made You Look, no song, in my opinion, shook the Garden like Thun did at its peak. Like the shift, the energy in the Garden, because even Sin looked at me at one point, like some of the crowd, there was some gentrifiers in the crowd. Some of the crowd wasn't moving how they were supposed to be moving. Right. But from Thun through all the classics, Thun was the tone setter I felt like.
That's a fact.
Okay. No, I just, I want some perspective, like because I can see, from doing the pod, from doing according to hip hop, that the response from New Yorkers to Thun and everybody to Thun is like on two different levels. Everybody else has it kind of like on like a 7, 8, 9. Y'all are like 12.
7, 8, 9. For real?
Yeah, I mean, just being honest, like when I'm getting feedback about like what the favorite tracks are, it's like Thun is coming up, but it's not ringing like it's ringing for y'all. But I think Jarv made like an analysis about the drums being like very like Havoc, Q-Tip, mid to late 90s ish sounding, and so I thought that was very insightful with that.
It's melodic too. It got the violins will take you there. You know what I'm saying? And it's very dynamic, bro. Like you hear this shit, a bop is pulled out of you. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
I feel like it's almost Bible for y'all. Like there's certain things like down here, like even to this day, it's like if you play some booty shake or some yeek as we call it, like people react different. You know? Like I
respect that.
I was at the Outkast show and we was on break, like at Outkast last show, and they was breaking and like they started playing the old Miami bass. That's when everybody started going nuts in the crowd. You know what I'm saying? Because that's kind of what we grew up on. So I look at Thun Like a Record as kind of like that's what y'all grew up on.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say
it's a heavy regional sound.
Yeah, to piggyback off what Deanie said, like the strings also there's a cinematicness to it. There's like the cinematic feeling with the strings along with the drums that Job spoke to, and it just, you know what I mean? It sounds like you're walking down a New York street, a live New York street.
Right. Okay.
That's what it sounds like.
Some quick insight. Nas actually had Hit go record the train track squeaking for that track, so that part is real. I actually knew that. They actually told me.
Yeah, like that's something
I'm not gonna lie.
It's something we talk about where it's like there's certain songs that's the soundtrack of New York City. It's the score of the city. Thun falls right in line with that. Go ahead, Mace.
Facts. Now I was gonna say, our guy Adriel sent us a super chat, and while we bloviating here over Thun, he's trying to say that the video performance, 30 looked like it rang off the craziest, which is interesting because Coop mentioned that being like one of the hardest joints to him. So how did 30 ring off in the crowd? Yeah.
30 I remember 30 ringing off crazy. I think I'm on Fire got a great reaction too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a few joints off of the KD trilogy.
What joint with Mary? The joint with Mary rang off a little something too.
Yeah. The Mary surprise was
clearly because she came out. So obviously, yeah, that's gonna go crazy.
I'm with Jarv. Like Made You Look for me might be like his seminal moment as far as like if I was picking a single of his and I'd be like, yo, this is Nas, I would pick Made You Look. You know what I'm saying? Because for me, like when you're speaking to the drums, well, that's that Apache break loop that Salam's flipping, right? And you know what I mean? Like, so for me, like that's when Nas is like the Nas that everybody knows. It's like when he's taking that original hip hop and he's just like in his pocket right there. So how did y'all feel about like Made You Look? Because that's when I was like, oh shit. Like, because live, I heard Made You Look live in a smaller venue before, but hearing it in a stadium was different for me. And that was probably like that and the Memory Lane verse were my most amped moments on a personal level because of how I feel about those records.
Yeah, Deanie, I ain't heard from you a lot.
Made You Look? Does the city look like I do?
Yeah. It definitely does, bro. The way certain songs resonate with New York, like you said, you have your shit that resonates out there with the ATLians and all that. You know what I'm saying? The way the music resonates, bro. It has to hit, and that record hit. As far as what was you talking about? What's the name of the record? We're talking about not 30. Name of the record we talking about? Made You Look. Made You Look. To a lot of people, it's a top 5 Nas record. You know what I'm saying? To a lot of people, it's a top 10 Nas record. It's that beautiful medley, bro. When you get the streets, like Jarv said, when you get the streets and you get something that the streets and the club can knock to at the same time. If you can merge those two things, bro, you're almost at classic level. Let's be honest. Like it's very hard to get them two things on the same plane. Once you do, magic shit always happens, bro. And that's pretty much what happened on Made You Look.
Let me step in here because I just want to speak to as the producer here. Like I want to speak to like the beautiful simplicity of Made You Look and the beat to Made You Look. Because it's the Apache break, which everyone knows, but it's just slowed down to a point where Nas could really like talk his shit and get his swag and be in like a somewhat of a different pocket than what he's usually in, right? And shouts to Salam Remy because Salam Remy gets a lot of hate You know what I mean, for having sort of like mid beats. When people, and we can talk about this.
You said it yourself, Sin. Don't say people. I think.
Listen.
It's me.
I am people.
Listen.
You think Salam makes mid beats, Sin?
I think in when we talk about the group of producers that Nas has worked with,
since being a politician, since when?
Right? Wow.
Within the group of producers that Nas has worked with in his 30+ year career, you got Primo, you got Pete Rock, you got Q-Tip,
Large Pro,
you got Large Pro, you got Alchemist, you have Hit Boy now, you have LES, you have there's a lot of people. I'm probably leaving out some legends right now. The Trackmasters. I think when we look at the bigger picture, Salam didn't always deliver the bangers. You know what I mean? He delivered some good beats, but he didn't deliver the bang. He didn't deliver like what I consider as a Nas fan, some of my favorite records, right? But he did do Made You Look. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, flowers to him, shout out to him for, the beautiful simplicity that is Made You Look, because it's mostly just really the break. There's not an awful lot that's added to it. It's just the break just slowed down to the point where Nas could do his thing on it. And to this day, you know what I mean? When that shit came on at MSG, it shook the building. It shook jaws.
Yeah, I would jump in and I would say that to Coop's question about Made You Look, that it is an all-timer. Again, it's like being that we were in the bleeders a little bit too, it was to our benefit because we got to see how the crowd responded. That lower bowl, I was looking at them sideways half of the night because I felt like the bleachers was getting active throughout the night. But the people who spent the most money to be in the Garden, I felt like we're doing right by the performance. However, when Made You Look came on, especially because it's something about Made You Look, each verse, the aggression, the lyrical abusiveness that happened to that guy on that record, because it is a diss. Let's call it what it is. It is a diss. People, as it picked up, you start seeing more hands in the crowd. Made You Look I've been calling it a victory lap for 20 years. It is Nas's victory lap after he won. Okay, I've been saying that. It is what it is.
I don't know about that.
If you go from Got Yourself a Gun to Made You Look, it bookends the whole shit.
That's true.
And who's the slave in his rhyme book? You know what I'm saying? Like,
you got to understand
that
was what it was, but the subliminals did not stop until about 2004. You know what I mean?
You were slave to
a page.
One page.
One page.
Dead presidents.
That's why I always say
World is yours.
that I love that song because I knew what the song represented. And it made me sick that I thought it was fire. And I still think it's fire till this day. I don't need the remix. You can keep Ludacris and Kiss's verse. Esco on that song, In the Garden, everybody understood the assignment when that record came on. Especially the third verse when the beat dropped. Okay, like Made You Look is that record. It really is. You know what I mean? I need like 10 more of those before he. That's why going back to Thun, Thun is like Made You Look's cousin in a lot of ways as far as the vibe, the bounce,
tone, man.
The tone when Nas, because there's one thing about Nas that gets me mad is he don't talk his shit enough for me. As a Jay-Z fan, I want rappers that talk their shit. So when he does talk his shit, it's like, oh, there's that guy.
Well, there's the disconnect. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Cool.
Go ahead, Nas fans.
No. Because I was just about to say, well, there's the disconnect that I'm having right now, but you go ahead.
Well, I mean, yeah, the disconnect is like I'm always saying at the table, and specifically to Job, like every rapper don't have to talk their shit all the time. You know what I mean?
They do a really good job of it.
Hold on. That on Watch Them Niggas, he literally said that's why I hardly kick the bragging rap.
Exactly.
His own in this ghetto inhabitant. Like he's letting you know, he's like, I'm not gonna be the guy that's gonna like talk that shit for you all the time. That's not my steez, really.
I respect that. I
broke that down on live too.
So it's not like it didn't come with a clarification or a misnomer. You know what I'm saying?
And then there's even another line in there. I got no game. It's just some bitches understand my story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hear you, but it's like basketball. You can shoot the three, but you want to post up all game. Shoot the three. And I get 3 to 4 3-pointers a game. I ain't asking for too much.
Now I'll tell you what.
Game.
Mike used to say something when Mike and I used to argue on Facebook long before I joined According to Hip Hop and long
Sounds
before
familiar.
Okay. And one of the things that Mike and I used to argue about, and he used to argue in favor of Jay about, was like, he'd be like, "Coop, Nas is boring." I'm like, how can this shit be boring to you? And I think what you're speaking to, Jarv, is that you want Nas to be more entertaining. You know what I'm saying? And maybe being more entertaining requires being less thoughtful sometimes. Because I'll tell you what, like, Made You Look is a seminal record for him, because it's him transitioning from that guy that made like New York State of Mind and Nas is Like and Rewind and shit like that, saying, well, I don't maybe necessarily need to be super lyrical like that to get you now. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I do gravitate towards that record, because it's like him kind of updating his formula. Because like lyrically, Made You Look is not Nas's Like. You know what I'm saying?
No, of course not.
But it's a better.
I know we're getting into our bad guys, but we got to remember we got the super chats. If they come
we gonna get there. I'm keeping an eye on it, but Coop is cooking right now. Go ahead, Coop.
All right, Coop, go ahead, do your thing.
No, I'm just saying. So we have to, like, you know, and this is what I mean about, like, well, Jarv, I get why you love Made You Look, because it's like, well, that record's entertaining, but it's like he has other records that are entertaining, like in different ways. It's like, I love Do-Rags almost as much as
we done had the whole argument about Do-Rags. Not go Coop.
Yeah, we did. Man. You took that over where I'm from, bro. From home.
Here's my thing.
Wow.
My thing is this.
That was wild.
Hold on. I'm gonna forget this point. Let me just get it
all right, go.
I'm not saying I want Nas to entertain me all the time, but it just pays me when I see a guy do a windmill, right? And then he just jogs to the bench. Like he did the windmill, he said it's over, he ripped his jersey off, and it was like, oh shit, this guy's pretty good. It's almost like cheering for a Duke player. It's like when Kyrie went to Duke, it's like, oh, they actually have guys like Kyrie that plays for Duke. You know, I'm used to Duke guys just slapping hands and going back to Coach K. Nas been Duke for so long.
I'm insulted.
And then all of a sudden he became Carolina, and it's like, oh, wait a minute.
You want to know what
I got since '96? Where you been, Esco?
I can kind of get some of what you're saying, because some of what I've enjoyed about King's Disease is, well, he's been talking his shit more on this trilogy and on Magic. Like he didn't used to say stuff, I got so many kids in the game, it's like a gender revealing. No. I like it when he flexes a little bit, but it's like also too, it's like, well, he waited till everybody slowed down to start flexing, and that's really like a chess move to me. You know what I'm saying? That it's like, oh no, he waited till the end when he realized people are running out of gas, proverbially or possibly, to flex muscle. And that's really like that's what gangsters do.
You think that was intentional, Coop?
I feel attacked.
I do feel there's something.
Or do you feel like he just got the bug?
I mean, here's what I'm saying. So it's like, and I think you all know this, like, Sin, you spoke to the list of producers that he's worked with. Like, all these people have been willing to sit down with Nas and work with Nas. Like, Nas isn't like a fly by the night. I think we all know this. Like, he's not like the type of person that runs in and out of the studio like really, really quickly. Like, he's looking to build. And I think what really got him reinvigorated was that in Hit Boy, because Hit was going through some things too, he had somebody that was trying to build with him. And that's how we got this. So I think he caught the buzz because he kind of he found somebody that probably worked the way that he originally worked. Like, he's used to going to a nigga's house and being there for a day or two to get the shit done. Like, he in Pete Rock's garage. You know what I'm saying? He had Q-Tip's house going through records. Like, he's used to the whole process and kicking it with niggas. Like even the stories of Illmatic, they're like, Large Professor is taking him around, you know, these people and just like, you know, building. You know what I mean? And so I think what reinvigorated him was the building process, because I think when you just ask him to just work with a producer who's great, you get Nasir.
Good point.
Good point.
That's a fact.
You feel me? Just ask him to go to work. It's like, hey, go to work over these beats. It's like, no, he can do it. The music gonna sound solid. It's not gonna sound like KD 1, 2, or 3 or Magic. When you build with him, he builds. Now, I want to say something. Like, I think what Sin is saying with Salah, I don't know if like it's mid that Salah's beats are. I think it's that, well, if you actually look at the producers Nas's work with, calling him a bad beat picker is some of the dumbest shit ever. Because if you actually look at the producers he's worked with, it's like 6 or 7 of the 20 greatest producers ever. Like,
listen,
might be a little more than.
I actually have a list of all the producers he's worked with. I got it right here. I did it a long time ago, and I just remember.
Okay. Like
ass nigga.
With Havoc, what do you think about his shit with Havoc? Like the setup, him rapping over eye for an eye, give it up fast. Like when he's on Havoc shit, he's like live nigga rap. So I mean, it's like that's what Salah's up against like heavyweights.
I think what it is in terms of that topic, and I'm gonna be balanced here. I'm gonna be honest. As a Nas fan, I'm not gonna be biased here. I think something that you said resonated with me, Coop, and I think that Nas, as opposed to like, because when you think about it, let's say like the game today, everybody always has this pressure to stay in the limelight, right? Have a record out, put a project out, and I think that's something that started with Jay, because Jay ran 7 summers, you know what I mean, for better or worse. But he always had a single that was out there and that was cooking. He had a song that was in the club that was cooking, you know what I mean? So you got that. And Nas, on the flip side of that, he was like, nah, I'm not gonna just put something out just to put something out. Like I have to feel like it's important, right? And I think that's another part of the disconnect, is that like as consumers, a lot of listeners are just like, well, I'm gonna go with the dude that I know is constantly putting material out and has joints ringing off either in the radio or in the club. Like this guy is taking off mad years. Why am I gonna be his fan? You know what I mean? That's sorry, John, but I think that a lot of casuals are will align more so with that side of the coin, right?
Sim been trying to call me a casual for 15 years. It's okay.
But here's where I'm being, balanced. I don't think that. So Nas, I feel, always had this feeling of making music that's important, but it didn't always land the way that he envisioned it in his head. And I think part of that is the fact that maybe the production did not match the vision that he had in his head about, like, for instance, the Untitled album, the N-Word album. You know what I mean? I don't know how you feel about that, Coop. I'm seeing your reaction right now, but that wasn't the best album. And I'm like, yo,
I don't like those beats. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like those beats.
Exactly, right? And so like, and I think it was like Nas had this vision, like, I want to make an album that's speaking to a lot of the things that are, that I see in society, and that, that there's always been like a common thread in his music. But he wanted to make it more focused on that album. But the production that was chosen for that album didn't really elevate to where it needed to be, right? And so I think that's where the disconnect is between like Nas and his vision and what he wants to do and what he wants to talk about and the records that he wants to make, and then the production not really matching it, which is, again, just to bring it full circle, why this run is so immaculate, is because he finally found that kindred spirit in Hit Boy to really give him the soundscapes that he needs to talk about everything that he wants to talk about.
Okay.
Yeah, mates.
So we got a shitload of super chats. I ain't even gonna lie, y'all. Jermaine Johnson wanted to mention that AZ was in the building. We never got to that. You know what I mean? We had Hassan. I never brag because I never brag. I'm real. I keep it because it's the best secret. We had Hassan dropping bars in the chat, but Adriel, he dropped us a couple joints. Now his first joint, he said, "You owe me look like it ring off for the females heavy." Then he said, "I'm sorry." You don't have to be sorry for sending super chats, Adriel. That's the last thing you have to ever be sorry about. It's real deal shit. Please stop it, man. Right. And then he also wanted to mention that the Memory Lane acapella was legendary. Yeah. But how much longer do you think y'all could have stayed on stage though? Classics left on the table that would have rang off, like Nas's Light, Halftime, or Got Yourself a Gun.
He didn't do Nas's Light. That's true.
I mean, he could have went till midnight. Let's be clear, because the crowd left. I would say the energy in the garden was beautiful. I wouldn't say anyone was exhausted. He kind of left us on a high. You know what I mean?
People wanted more.
Mm-hmm. But the question I have for Sincere and Coop, I'll go to Coop first. Do you think that this connection with Hit Boy kind of benefited Nas as well? Because from a notoriety perspective, Hit Boy kind of had a bit of a chip on the shoulder. Hit Boy been around, but he was never in those conversations. Now he's kind of in those conversations. Do you think that Nas benefited from that chip on the shoulder that Hit Boy had coming into this trilogy?
Well, that's what I mean about, things happen for a reason, kind of at the right time for both of them. Because if you look at King's Disease 1 isn't just like a comeback kind of sorts for Nas, kind of speaking in a lot of ways. It's a comeback for Hit too, because if you really look at it, Hit really wasn't on the scene for a few years prior. The deal with Ye had gone sour. The Nasir album didn't meet people's expectation on Nas's side. So when they're coming back together, this is how it was told to me. It was really just supposed to be for one song for a session, and it just kind of ended up vibing and going from there. And Nas kept back and because I think one of the managers had a relationship with Hit for years and been kicking it with Hit, and that's what I'm saying. Like Nas is different. It's like he kind of wants to catch your whole vibe and your whole wave before he goes. And so I don't know what it is that Hit did exactly. You know what I mean? That probably struck a chord, but yeah. Hit had a chip on his shoulder and a point to prove. And, when you're dealing with he's definitely, no matter how you feel about him, he's the most critiqued of all the great MCs. Of all the all-time great MCs, he's the most critiqued. I was, when we did a little show earlier recapping as well, and I was asking Mike, I was telling him, I was like, and this is me from somebody who's not a Nostradamus fan, who's not a You Owe Me fan. I was literally on the thread last week. I was like, Timbaland sound like he gave Nas.
Oh, we saw that. Yeah, we saw that.
Yeah, I meant that shit too. But even with that, I was telling Mike, it was like, but look at those records and what those records mean to other people. You know what I'm saying? It's like not me. It's like, he has a vision that's really broader than sometimes what his fan base really allows him to do without critiquing him. Because I brought up Rakim doing those Jody Watley verses and those Truth Hurts verse. Nobody ever pulls up on the guy and be like, yo, that's not Lyrics of Fury, fam. That's not the stock. That ain't no the ledge. Yo, Rod, you did that Jody Watley joint? Yo, where's Microphone Fiend at, fam? Don't nobody do that to him. When Jay does Maya Best of Me Part 2, or what the R. Kelly Fiesta remix, we don't be like, fam, that's not the Evils. That's not Can I Live.
They didn't say that because those verses shook the whole fire.
Show is the after party.
Cool, you was dancing in the club when those records came on too. Cool. Don't do that.
The bar.
The beat was hard.
Shoulders moving.
You was getting jiggy in the club when they came on, Cool. It's all right.
Here's my fiesta.
Here's what I always say about Jay's run. Nobody caught it as bad as me because I was the one running around shouting Nas during Jay's run. And this is when I'm in college and I'm out at the clubs when they playing Jay shit and still dancing to it. And there's no way around it because at the time it's like, well, if you want to kick it at the party, if you want to get the girls, they dance and they bobbing to Jay shit. And that's just no lie about how his prime went. And I'm not going to ever take that away from him because I was young and I was outside. I watched it happen. I told you, the outfit that's on Volume 3, the Rockaware denim that he had for Volume 3, no. I was the only nigga in Greensboro with that outfit. And I'm very, very clear on why I got it. I'm very, very clear the reaction I got that I was looking for. You feel me? So
Cool.
It was big.
Cool said he was in the club dancing to Jay, whispering to Shorty, yeah, but you should listen to Nas, though. It's fine. You gotta listen to
us. Saying Nas is the better MC. Because here's the thing about it.
And shit.
They wasn't playing You Owe Me in the club when they was playing Do It Again in the club. You feel me? Them records was out at the same time. You feel me? Wasn't nobody playing You Owe Me?
Over here, they was ringing that shit over here, bro.
You only got ringed to death.
That shit was ringed to death, brother. At the spots,
I don't know. Listen. It did play. I don't think it played to the level of Do It Again or
because Do It Again was the better song.
That was somebody told us the big get, man.
But it did play.
Somebody told us the big get. You telling me Do It Again was playing in Atlanta?
I think Gucci Wally rang off crazier than You Owe Me.
Uchi Wally shut New York down. Let's call it what it is.
It did.
I was in Greensboro. North Carolina very much has more of an East Coast vibe than Atlanta ever. So yeah, Do It Again and Jay in Greensboro and in Charlotte. No. He was heavy. Like Jay's Volume 1, like Streets is Watching an Imaginary Player was on mixtapes on the west side of Charlotte in 96. 97 before the shit dropped. So he had, so yeah, Carolina's different than Atlanta in that regard because a lot of niggas, quite frankly, specifically from Queens and Brooklyn, are in North Carolina.
My pops is out there. He's a New York dude, so I already know. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But Sin, that question about Hit Boy's chip on the shoulder in this current rental, how much of a role do you think that played?
On the run?
Yeah.
A huge role.
Okay.
Yeah, because he was, I mean, whether it's from his own choosing or what was going on in the industry, but he was kind of MIA for a good hot minute. And there, there was rumors going around that he was like kind of blackballed or whatever. And like Coop said, like his relationship with Kanye had gone sour. And so we didn't really know what was going to happen with Hit Boy. And, like there was, before this run, there was a few times, like a couple times where I was like, yeah, whatever happened to Hit Boy? Because like, he had, he was in Paris and he had that One Train joint on the A$AP Rocky. These are some of my favorite records. I'm like, bro, where's he at? Record. You know what I mean? And yeah, like I feel that he really wanted to prove himself and his worth, not in the industry and to the industry, because they was front on him. And he found like Nas said in the interview with Stephen Colbert, like they both found each other's kindred spirit. You know what I mean? Like Nas gets youth from Hit Boy and Hit Boy gets wisdom from Nas, and it just, it's like a symbiosis of just good vibes and good energy, man. And it's still going. And we heard like a little something about KD4 possibly being in the works. I'm all here for it. There's a couple of people like that I've seen. It's like, yo, yeah, I don't know. I'll write enough with the KD series, and I'm just like, yo, are y'all ever gonna be happy? Because like y'all said, not just picking bad beats. He's picking good beats. Nas was gone for too many years. He don't drop enough. He's dropping like on a regular basis now. He's giving you heat. He's selling out the gun. Like more do you want? Now y'all gonna be unhappy because he's gonna keep rocking with Hit Boy when he's giving you flawless material. Like, come on, just
what is the whole thing with the whole like? I mean, because here's how I felt, and this is exactly where I really started looking at Hit Boy differently. And I really enjoyed KD1. I thought KD2 was pretty epic. But when I listened to the production on Magic, I was like, well, this sounds like the producers on Illmatic did it, but only one guy did it. That's how I feel. Like when I hear 4016 building, I'm like, that don't sound like no Hit Boy shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's nothing that's been attached or associated with saying. When I'm listening to something like Speechless or Meet Joe Black, I'm like, no, he's in rare form, not to be like too tongue in cheek with it. And I'll be honest when I say this, I wasn't the biggest fan of his as a producer, like on the rap stuff. Like I'm with you, saying like the niggas in Paris is the One Train was probably the ones that I liked the most. And the rest of it, I was kind of like touch and go, like, nah, he's cool. I like him. Felt like his R&B stuff was better. And I think he kind of felt that smoke too. And so I think Nas gave him some hip hop credibility and he gave Nas a fresh sound. So it's kind of like fair trade.
I mean, I agree with you, Coop, because I remember when KD1 was first announced, it wasn't like a groundbreaking announcement. It was like, oh, all right, Hit Boy and Nas? That's interesting. I felt like we said that on the pod. Like, I guess we got to see what this Nas album is going to sound like. He's working with Hit Boy. We don't know what to expect. There was a lot of uncertainty surrounding KD1. We didn't know what to expect. But then Dini in the last couple of years has been beating over our heads like, yo, you got to think about the vibiness. Like there's a certain bounce that Nas and Hit Boy have brought together by way of Hit Boy. So Dini, I ask you, do you think that Hit Boy has made Nas officially vibey in 2023 or am I jumping the gun?
You're not jumping the gun. I think Hit Boy was tasked with an incredible task. I think they sat in front of him, arguably the greatest rap MC, you know what I'm saying, to touch a mic. And they said, yo, make something new and something fresh and something beautiful. And that pressure right there alone will break a lot of niggas, you know what I'm saying? And Nas knows he has to live up to this too, because the lyrical skills there, the dexterity is there. Hit Boy got some heat in the joint. The nigga did do racks in the middle. Like, we're not gonna act like the nigga ain't got some good rap joints in the tuck.
You're right.
But I mean, that's synergy. Bringing that out of somebody, like bringing what they've brought out of each other, pause. It just it's I mean, it's fucking amazing, bro. When are we talking about 50-year-old rap dudes producing classic albums? Putting out, you know what I'm saying? This is like transcending the genre to me, because this is like the only hip hop, the only genre that you really got a clock on you, you know? Like there was a time where at 30, you kind of had to hang it up, or else you were just that nigga who keep holding on. You know
he kind of did that to Rakim when he tried to make his comeback.
There you go. So it's dope, man. I'm here for all this shit. Shout out to Hit Boy for being that young, fresh, reinvigorated energy that Nas needed. Shout out to Nas for just barring the fuck up, just getting the pockets, like not the flows, bro. Like the flows on these last 3 albums, the flows.
Yeah,
okay. Fair play.
It's different, bro. It's really different.
Impressive than the lyrics, in my opinion, because we've never flowed this.
It's a different Nas, man.
Yeah, it's a different dude.
It's a Khalees free Nas.
Hey, listen.
The misogynist. He finally shows up.
No. Show Khalees some respect. She's doing commercials for Uber.
Yo, listen, Khalees is my favorite farmer on earth right now. Okay, hey girl. That's fine. So
give her her
immaculate.
Give her respect. She's doing no commercials for Uber Eats. So
Nas fans hate Khalees,
it's a bad.
Why do Nas fans hate Khalees like this, man? She didn't deport
y'all, man. She had my son shooting on the nigga album sounding crazy.
She gotta come to the brunch and she'll be safe.
Yo, man.
I'm dead.
But we got a few super chats. So our guy Andre, he's agreeing with Dean about you know, and ultimately sin. He's saying that sorry man, Salam is mid. Although he did make you look, he was happy when they stopped working together. He's saying hopefully never again. Okay, shouts to you. Man. We gonna hide this from Salam. Hopefully Salam didn't see that one. That's his opinion, by the way, Salam. Mike H wanted to mention that Nas felt the Garden solo based off the KD series. He was hoping for a track or two off Magic, but he got the full catalog set, so he was good.
Yo, real quick. It hurt me when I had to kill him in this whole squad for Dolo.
Yeah.
What we doing here?
Good job.
What we doing here? What's going on?
By himself.
That's not what we had planned.
This is not a Rockefeller tour.
That was a stray.
It wasn't a Bravehearts tour. It was for Dolo. Let's go.
This wasn't a tour. This was a show, Sid. But we
have
a couple of title takes.
You can't do a tour. You know what I mean? Yeah. A stadium tour? I don't know.
Watch it, y'all. Watch it, man.
Cases on everybody. They might feel safe in the chat right now, but there's cases on all these niggas.
The tour's coming. The tour's coming.
It's Sincere's fault. Sincere shot at me. There was a reflex. I didn't even mean to say that.
And then moved over. Tough.
We just had a couple Untitled takes to get off. Jadorian said that he wanted to mention that Untitled aged very well. He listened to it recently. He was feeling about 14 out of 15 tracks. And of course, the super chat MVP, Adriel, he said Untitled gave birth to Pimp a Butterfly, but he'd argued that that Untitled had a better vibe. Is that a hot take, though? He said it's a hot take.
I agree with it.
That's a very hot take.
I'm never talking about that album on this podcast again. Last time me and Sid talked about it, we argued for 20 minutes straight.
I got nothing to say. With a straight face, you gonna tell me your album is better than To Pimp a Butterfly?
I'm going with the Nas joint, bro.
Oh my god!
I'm going.
You can have the Kenny energy.
Hell yeah!
That's insane.
You and those left wingers can have that album.
Bro, this isn't even a conversation about the album in and of itself.
Far left individuals.
No matter what you think about that album, whether it's overrated or not,
right?
It's just there's no way that the Untitled album
I don't think it's overrated. I just think that we don't like that album. That's all I'm saying.
Well, yeah, we don't like the Untitled album either. So if we're gonna compare it, there's no way the Untitled album is better than To Pimp a Butterfly. It's just no way.
That's the bar.
Y'all wasn't listening to the Digger album in 2008. I know him, bro. He wasn't right.
to say that it gave birth, like how many different albums?
And the people who voted for Bernie can take that album.
How many other albums before the Untitled album came out was speaking on the? I mean, you have Dead Prez.
Right.
You got the Dead Prez album, Let's Get Free.
Way better.
You know what I mean? That album's a classic to me. You can't say that is, like Nas' birth to Pimp a Butterfly.
Hold on.
I don't think that's accurate.
I'd like to hear from Coop.
What song? I'd like to know what song on Untitled. I mean, and I say this is probably the biggest Kendrick dissenter online because that last album was some trash to me.
Ooh, talk about
Word salad.
You and Deanie gonna have to fight for that title, Coop. I'm sorry, bro.
I'm sorry. You trash too, Deanie. It was trash.
No, I want it.
But look here. What on Untitled is comparable to These Walls or How Much a Dollar Costs or Hood Politics? Like, where's that record at on Untitled that even makes this like a valid conversation? And I say this to somebody that literally on my show said that To Pimp a Butterfly is the best album that's ever been made that never gets played.
What is happening?
Wow.
What is going on here?
What is
going on here?
My guy, Cool.
And it's smoking.
The transition is ugly right now.
What is going on?
Thank you.
The betrayal.
Like
the
really?
best album that got made that never gets played.
I don't believe I'm saying this because I just blasted him on the previous show. Fried Chicken with Busta Rhymes is probably the best song on
Absolutely.
It's a great song.
Okay.
Fried Chicken's the best song.
Fried Chicken is immaculate.
Fried Chicken would be like in 8th place on To Pimp a Butterfly. Just honestly speaking, I can think of
the higher level album.
I would put a little higher, maybe
5, maybe 5
or 6, 5, 6. Top 5. Let's say top 5.
So we're competing to see which one is the most mid. That's what we're doing here.
It's a mid-versation.
It speaks to how immaculate To Pimp a Butterfly is.
Immaculate.
Immaculate. It is. It may not be.
It's a great spoken word album.
These walls.
The replay value
all right.
High, but when you
how much
isolate
does the dollar cost?
Don't enjoy. Like How Much a Dollar Costs is one of the best rap stories.
The blacker the berry.
That's the gem.
Y'all gotta stop. Y'all really gotta stop, man.
Mortal Man's better than Fried Chicken to me. When shit hits the fan, are you still a fan?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, like I always say, y'all have heard my argument. The chat has heard my argument about this album. If To Pimp a Butterfly was what Sincere says it was, then Damn does not happen and it doesn't sound the way it sounds. I'm dying on that hill.
What do you mean?
It's a bad hill to die on, bro.
Damn is a way better album.
It's a bad hill to die on.
About what damn are you talking about exactly? Like you talking about like the Mike Will, like the whole bounce to it?
Yeah. The sonical approach to Damn is a direct response to the general public looking at To Pimp a Butterfly like, listen, bro, we hear you, but we don't want that shit. You know what I mean?
That's their problem. That's a them problem. That's not a him.
You're making the music.
It's the listeners, bro.
That's the problem with the listeners.
Well, stylistically, he had just shown with his jumps before that he was probably going to switch speeds on us anyway. Like, regardless of what we said, wasn't he going to switch speeds anyway?
Exactly.
I think he tried some shit.
If that jumped off, he might have kept
doing. I'll take it a step further. Mr. Mid and the Mid-Steppers is him trying to balance that line between To Pimp a Butterfly and Damn. And this is what we got.
Well, he didn't hit the mark on either side in that regard.
Tell Sincere that. We've been trying to tell him for months.
He hit all the marks. He hit all the marks. He hit all the marks. All of them.
Mid-God.
Come on, bro.
All the marks.
You called it Mr. Mid and the Mid-Steppers yourself, bro.
No,
you did.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I was there, Stan. You did.
We were there, bro.
No, I didn't.
It was in the room, bro. The chat
still good.
It
was a live session, bro.
Yeah. Hold on, real talk.
It was a misspeaking, a slip of the tongue.
I didn't
call it that in earnest.
It
wasn't in earnest.
Real talk.
That's a terrible argument.
You're in
misspoke.
What are the streets? What did the streets of New York say about the Mr. Morale? Like really, what did you niggas hear like when you was in the streets
of New York? Nigga, I'm 44. I'm not talking to the streets of New York. I'm not 25.
Look at Sincere,
what are you talking about?
The streets don't matter.
The streets of New York. I'm not in the club every weekend. Like, what are we talking about here?
No. Nothing from that on the club.
Let's say you're out to dinner and somebody recognizes you like around the time that it came out and they're rolling up on you and like yo, Sam, what you think?
Matter of fact,
like, what's the word?
Wait a minute. Actually, Job, after the show, right before Coop got there, who are we talking to?
I don't remember.
You don't remember who he was?
I don't remember.
All right, you don't remember his name? All right.
I'm gonna lie.
Now,
That's what's gonna happen.
All of a sudden, John doesn't remember anything that happened that night. But we were speaking to somebody. If you're in the chat right now, make yourself known. We were speaking to him, and he was telling me specifically how he was coming around to the Mr. Morale and the Missteppers album.
A half a year later,
you don't gotta come around.
What does that even mean?
Even there yet.
he's settling for it, bro. It's like a bad relationship.
He took the longest route on the GPS to a mid-ass album. Come on, bro.
I've been eating these Subway sandwiches for a year. They kind of good now, I guess.
Facts.
Yeah, I just want to shout out to one of my favorite scenes in movie history, 300, at the end when King Leonidas is by himself and he's staring down the army. I just want to say that's Leroy in the comments right now, bro. Shout out to Leroy.
Leroy's over here in y'all comments too.
Yo, man.
Of course, saying the same things. It was Yayi 4G. We tapped it up. We was tapping in with him outside of the garden right before we bumped into Cool. He was supposed to come have a drink with us, but he fronted. I knew he was gonna bail. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna be over there around the corner. I'm like,
yeah, I seen him. Yeah, I seen him. He was like, yeah. He's like, where y'all gonna be at? He's like, yeah, I'm gonna come through. I was like, yeah.
He baited.
That was it. As soon as a nigga
I'm come clear. I've been that guy mad. So, yeah. You around the corner, I bet. Get right in my car and peel of Brooklyn, bro. But all right, let's take a sharp. We're gonna get back to the garden in a second. But let's take a sharp left turn for a split second. Around the time KD3 came out, there was two arguments from each pod. According to hip hop, specifically Coop was highly upset that there wasn't enough of a radio and mainstream push ahead of the release of KD3.
Right.
Over at the Rap Roundtable, we were like, fuck the mainstream. Run the streams up. We both had tweets. We both had opinions on it. So I'd like to have that conversation. Now, I want to hear from Coop. Like, why do you think that Nas should have that mainstream push, especially from New York radio? I'm going to get into New York radio after you respond, but I know you were wondering why Power wasn't spinning the records, why Hot 97 wasn't spinning the records, why notable publications weren't doing a necessary push. So I want to know, why did that matter to you?
I do another podcast outside of According to Hip Hop. It's called Mirror Music. I do it with my friend Andrew. Andrew and I ran our high school together. So I've known Andrew since I was 15 years old. Andrew is white. Andrew was also a musician. He was in a band. When I started rapping, he started performing. So we've kind of been like indie musicians and artists as well, coming up. So, one of the things that we've been trying to do is culturally bridge the gap between my musical world and his musical world, and be like, we're not all that different. He's one of my lifelong friends, and he's also one of my lifelong friends because as a white man, he understands that I'm very pro-Black, and that has nothing to do with me in any sort of way being racist or anti-white or being against him. I just love my people, and I want our plight to get better and lessen, and he understands that and respects that. We have a wonderful relationship. We're dear, dear friends. But being exposed to his world musically has forced me to do my research on things outside of the hip hop and R&B and soul realm, okay? And so the way that rock legends get treated, guys, is just, it's infinitely better and a force multiplier in their world, how they are treated versus how we treat our legends. Now, for me, I use Nas as a litmus test to this because, in my personal opinion, he is the greatest MC that ever lived. Now, if you walk over to the rock spectrum, there's probably about 10 or 15 guys that they consider to be a Nas or a Jay-Z jar, okay? The way that those guys get treated to this day, when I mean records that these guys made 30, 40, 50 years ago are still getting played on major radio stations like they got released motherfucking last week, okay? Now, all respect due, because from what I've seen and from what we all know, birthplace of hip-hop, the Mecca, the cornerstone. This is a cornerstone individual coming from the cornerstone. Radio play should not be optional. It's not optional. I spent my 40th birthday back home in Charlotte. The Rolling Stones were in town performing. Do you know that the whole talk of the town the whole weekend was the fact that after the show, Mick Jagger went to a bar. That's all he had to do. He's not from Charlotte, but he's Mick Jagger. And so just him going to a bar and having a drink was the deal in town. Literally made the front page of the newspaper. And all I'm saying is that not just Nas deserves that treatment, but there's a lot of other guys that deserve that treatment. But if we don't give it to him, well, who are we going to give it to? And so some of my statements is coming from that place. Now, here's something that I also will pause and stop and say, because I know Sin had different sentiments about it. Well, after being in New York for a day, I can understand some of Sin's sentiment a little bit more too, because how y'all is a little bit different. But it doesn't change the fact that I think we need to aspire to treat our legends and our stars like that Mick Jagger treatment that I seen in Charlotte for my 40th birthday. That's really what I'm speaking to. But if I approached it the wrong way also too, tell me, because I'm a fucking out of towner. You know what I'm saying? If you out of out of pocket on pocket, like if you come down to the A with me and do some out of pocket shit and be like, yo, that ain't gonna play down here, fam.
So you want me to go or you got it?
You can go, John.
All right, so my whole thing is, and I'm gonna bring Mace into this because it's kind of a full circle moment. As far as I look at the Nas fans, and a year ago when Magic dropped, I said that to me, I don't look at radio anymore, especially New York radio, as a litmus test for anything. I think it's an onus on the fan to run up the streams. I think some of us, especially in the older demographic, we really didn't really understand how the streaming game worked. So they don't, a lot, like the young kids know, if I like Deanie new single, I'm going to play it mad times. I'm going to go on the TikTok. I'm going to run the streams up OD on the TikTok. We're going to get this guy's numbers up, right? Us, we get the album, we front to back it, we front to back it, we front to back it, we might move on to something else. We don't run the numbers up how we supposed to. So I played that, as a Nas fan, you supposed to attack the streams and get him where he's supposed to be at, the same way that guy's fans do that for him. Say what you want to say, and yeah, in the chat they talk about machines and all of that. There's a lot of that guy fans out there, and they run his numbers up every time he drops. And don't get me wrong, he does have a big media push. When you got clowns on news networks quoting his lyrics and doing a whole dissertation about an average verse, I can understand why fans would get annoyed. Don't get me wrong, I got annoyed with the verse. You know what I mean? And I'm a fan. But at the end of the day, I come to find out that I was wrong about that. I can always admit when I'm wrong. As much as they kill me in the chat, when I'm wrong, I be taking my L's on here. I shoot back later, but right now I'm gonna take my L. Mace was the one who opened my eyes to how this industry is really run, and I had to take a fall back because the playlist, how you broke down how when Drake dropped Her Loss alongside 21 Savage, they had about 7 or 8 of these songs on that playlist. That's infinite plays on that playlist, right? I'm like, I didn't think about that angle. Then Mace broke it down, how much the value of one radio spin runs when it comes to the streams. So the whole time I'm yelling at the fans to run the streams, I'm thinking we as fans need to make sure our favorites do well. I didn't understand that there was a certain value in the radio because, again, now that I'm back driving to work more, I used to take the train when I worked in the city. Now I'm out in LA now, so I drive every day. All I hear when I'm driving to work is Afro beats. So now you got to understand my perspective. Like, why the fuck do I want to hear Nas after Burna Boy? I don't want to hear that shit. You know what I mean? This doesn't represent anything that's New York City at all. Yeah, cool.
You mind if I interject just briefly? You're saying some poignant things, and I don't want to cut you short. I just want to say, well, I'm one of those people, and I feel ashamed of it because I used to be an artist, and I'm obviously involved in this industry on this level now. No, I didn't understand how the streams really worked until I started talking to Nas people. Now, I'm briefly going to tell you something that I do now. And I don't just do this for Nas. I actually started it with Mobb Deep because I'm a big Prodigy fan. Every week, I go up on my streaming platform, and every day I start off like with one of my favorite rap legend songs to stream. And I know it's going to stream like all those other songs too, because I didn't know that I wasn't doing it properly. So it's like, no, I'll start off my day and I'll be like, well, give me some Give Up the Goods by Mobb Deep. And let's get these guys some play. Like legit. I just put that on last week. So I'm one of those old heads that it's like, no, I can admit that it's like, I didn't know how it runs, but I want to speak something real quick to what you said. When I understood how much streams you can get off radio, off major radio, that's when I got upset because it's like, oh, now you're affecting dollars and money like infinitely. And so there's no way around that. Now I'd like you to go ahead and continue. I'm sorry for cutting you short.
So that was basically where I was like, all right, I could see the argument. But I think at the same time, to this point, when we lead to the concert, it's a nice happy medium because he's not on the radio like that anyway. You know what I mean? Because again, I play it. It's to a point now it's a running joke. I go between Power 105 and Hot 97 between, let's say, 7 a.m. and 7:30. And it's about the same 4 songs. And both stations take turns playing the same record. So at around, let's say, Power 105 usually comes back on about 2 minutes before Hot 97. So it's like at the 7 o'clock hour, Power comes on at about 6:58 in the morning. I'm a maniac. I started paying attention to this shit. You know what I mean? And it start at 6:58, they're playing Rich Flex, right? I go to Hot 97 at about 7:01. Rich Flex is on. Then I go back to Power. Burna Boy is on. Go back to Hot 97. Burna Boy is on. And they just take turns playing the same records on these 2 stations. So it's like, for me, do we really want that shit? I understand the statistical importance, but I feel like this is where I give credit to the Nas fans, you, Sin, everyone in the chat, Dini sometimes, you be flip-flopping. I feel like the Nas fan is the reason more so than any streams for where he's at leading up to the Garden. You guys have decided to weaponize your fandom in the right way, and I got to give credit where.
And if I can step in real quick just to make a quick point.
No, Sam, go ahead.
Because Coop brought up Mick Jagger, right? One of the most legendary rock performers, rock stars of all time. But I don't look. Some of y'all might get mad at me, but I wouldn't categorize Nas as a Mick Jagger type of artist. I would say Jay is more of the Mick Jagger of the rap game. I would say Nas is more like a Bob Dylan. You know what I mean? Or something in that vein. You know what I mean? And Bob Dylan, for the rest of eternity, will always get his prompts. He'll get his due from the people that know songwriting, the people that know musicality. You know what I mean? But he just wasn't that big star that Mick Jagger was. And to me, I think I'm speaking for myself and solely for myself. I'm fine if Nas goes down in history, in the history of hip hop, as being like the Bob Dylan of the rap game, right? Maybe with a little bit more swag, you know what I mean, here and there sometimes. But I'm not mad at that though.
Hold on, Sam, can I piggyback off your thought and your sentiment?
Yeah.
But here's what I'm saying when you say that. So I would agree with you because Jay is more. I tell people the 3 most charismatic MCs of all time, the 3 of your greatest MCs of all time. That's Biggie, that's Pac, that's Jay. Charisma through the roof. Do I think Nas is charismatic? Yes. Do I think he's as charismatic as them? No.
Right.
So the Bob Dylan analysis, because he's a supreme songwriter. But that's what I'm saying when I say this, is that like in his world, Bob Dylan and Mick Jagger are considered to be in the same stratosphere, and they're both treated a certain type of way by their following. And that's what I mean. There's like 10, 15 guys over there that they're so iconic to the point, and Dylan is one of those guys. David Bowie is one of those guys. Right. Paul McCartney is one of those guys. It's like, no, I don't care which guy it is. I just know all of those guys get treated a certain type of way. And so I'm saying like, no. Nas deserves to be treated that way. Jay, Cool G Rap, Rakim, KRS, like I want it for everybody. Nas is just the tipping point because of this run, in my estimation.
Right.
So I think go ahead. I think sometimes it gets lost that it's not a Nas thing, it's a taking care of our legends thing as a whole. Right. It just starts with Nas because he's the legend that's incurred the most slander, in my opinion.
And I think right now we're seeing it in real time, how Nas is getting that type of treatment and getting that type of esteem in more of the public eye. You see him, on Stephen Colbert, and you see him on what's that show on Comedy Central? I forget the name of it. But yeah, like you're seeing him on these more mainstream shows.
The South African cat who's the host.
Yeah. Like he replaced John.
The Daily Show.
The Daily Show. Thank you. Yeah. So you're seeing them on these. Yeah, you're seeing them on these types of shows now, But you're right. Maybe this is something that should have happened prior to this, but it took. I could kind of see the point where it took Nas to make 4 amazing albums in the span of 2 years for him to finally get these kinds of flowers. You know what I
So
mean?
let me, and I want somebody else to jump in after I say this. Let me take it back to my region and take it southern. And this is what I mean. It's applicable, and I'll start with Nas. But they're not playing Big Boi shit down here, and I got a big problem with it. You get what I'm saying? So it's kind of like start addressing these things at the top. Is Big, and I say this respectfully, do I love Big Boi on a personal level? Is he more important to me personally as a Southerner than Nas is? Yes. But on the structure and the hierarchy, I think Nas is higher. So if Nas is getting treated this way by New York radio, how can I sit up there and help Big Boi win with Atlanta radio? You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
And that's where my thing goes, because it's like, well, I want Big Boi to be on, like, Big Boi should be on the radio every time that comes out in Atlanta. Like, y'all weren't down here. Like, there was no hip hop on the radio before Outkast. I don't care what they say. The other shit, only thing we heard before them was Whoop There It Is by Tag Team and some shit from Kilo. Right?
And I think this spin back.
Chris Cross and Another Bad Creation. One of the niggas from Another Bad Creation, Auntie used to live in my neighborhood. That was our rap shit. So it's like Big Boi's a big deal to us down here. Like, he gave us our credibility. He don't get no airplay down here. So when I'm looking at Nas not getting no airplay in New York, Big Boi ain't getting no play in Atlanta. But I live in Cali, and every day I wake up, and Easy been gone way before I moved out to Cali, and I hear Easy every motherfucking day.
Shouts to the West, then. Shouts to the West. And I think ultimately, just to back to what Jav kind of said, I think if ultimately we, and nobody gets on Nas fans like me and Jav, I'm gonna tell you. But ultimately, we got to give the props, right? If the average fan of a hip hop star was as passionate as Nas fans are about Nas, then the sport in general would be better, right? The artist would be more respected. Like, I think ultimately we got to admit that it's a good thing that they ride for his legacy like that, and they'll check you like, no, that song wasn't whack. No, that album wasn't whack. No, that beat wasn't whack. You know what I mean? They don't let the narratives ride. You know what I mean? But let me get to the super chats real quick, y'all. Let me, we gonna give a shout out to Lisa. You know what I mean? In the inner circle. Yes. Shout out to Lisa. We want to give a big shout out to Olivia with the giant super chat. We appreciate you. And then we Mad Max up in here talking crazy. He mentioned that Rock Legends get treated better.
I feel like Mad Max is part of the wave game. He running around with Max B, bro. Because like,
listen, man, you gotta fuck with Max.
Uptown,
that's homie right there, man. He said Mo. I was like, hold up, is Max from the Bronx, bro? He's from the Boogie. But he mentioned that Rock Legends get treated better, but that's why Rock is dead today. You show respect for the old, but you don't praise to the point that the new gets no love.
No, that's not true. Kurt Cobain, Steve Bono, that's what I'm saying. Like, they let guys in. It's just you have to be great. Like, what Rock Ryan is being great. So it's like, nah, they hold on to Paul McCartney and Mick Jagger and Bob Dylan and David Bowie, but they also let people like Bono in with U2. They let Kurt Cobain in with Nirvana. Dave Grohl, who comes from Nirvana and started the Foo Fighters.
Well, here's what I'll say to that.
I just seen Jack White on SNL.
What's her name? The Holla Back girl, Gwen Stefani. That's what I'm saying. They let you in. And
but the difference between rap and rock is that competitiveness. Like, rappers inherently are competitive. Like, and I think even to like, I want to get to Deanie's point Deanie's response to what you said about Big Boi, because Deanie always has a lot to say about 3 stacks of Big Boi. So keep that on deck, Deanie.
Oh, does he?
But I think the issue with rap is the competitiveness. And I think sometimes, and I'll bring it back to New York, a lot of times out-of-towners, especially out west or down south, they don't get New York's competitiveness, and they kind of file it under hate. Like, New York in the 5 boroughs are competitive as hell. So now you're telling us to be nice to some guy who's not even in our city? Listen.
Yeah, that's a fact.
People never understand that. That's why, like, when Big Gibb started to talk about New Yorkers, it's like, he really don't know the city, bro. Like, a Brooklyn dude, like, there's a long time, only recently because of the internet, that it's not as crazy. But back when I was a kid, there was a clear divide between Brooklyn niggas and Harlem niggas, and to a further extent, Bronx niggas. Brooklyn and Queens niggas Here it is. We might get along. There was, because of the closeness, there was a bit of a blur. Exactly. The geography. But as far as not even the 5, because Staten Island, sorry, Wu-Tang. Staten Island really don't count outside of the Wu. but everywhere else in rap, and it comes to New York, we are competing with the whole city. I want to be, think about what happened to Rockefeller when the Harlem niggas got there. Like, it's real shit. And everybody calls it hate, but it's like, nah, like, I don't fuck with them Brooklyn niggas. I'm trying to get these dudes out of here. The competition with the Queens niggas and Biggie Smalls, that Cecile always talks about. It's a real thing. So when you ask us to now play nice with out-of-towners, we can barely get along in our city. How the hell are we supposed to get along with the guys from Atlanta and California?
Thanks.
They don't understand. Like, they really don't.
No, I'm not going to deny, like, when you said that, and after being up there for the day that it was up there, because I was telling my man when I was riding with 007, I was like, I can feel the pressure bust pipes nature. I can feel like the coal out of a diamond nature. I can feel the tension from just walking the streets. I could feel that shit when I was in the bridge. So you are saying something very striking when you're saying that, because and correct me if I'm wrong about this, hip hop, that was something that was formed out of, making a more productive solution for the inner city angst that was going on in 5 Bros.
Right.
You feel right. It was like, no, we're going to dance this out and rap this out and party this out instead of scrapping and shooting it out.
But then think about this, Coop. So a part of the lore of that song with what is homie's name? Corey Guns Pops, Peter Guns.
Uptown.
If it wasn't for the Bronx, that song was a statement, because for so long all the other boroughs was really running this rap shit.
Yeah.
So when that song came out, it was like a reminder, hello, this is our shit. We started it.
Right. That was actually Lord Tariq. Respect.
Lord, it was both of them.
That's why you hear
that was his part.
And Peter Guns.
That was his part, though. That was the record was
Peter's story was nice. I remember Corey.
That song was a big deal for Uptown, because it's like, yo, y'all keep talking about Biggie Smalls and Jay-Z and Nas and Wu-Tang. The Bronx started it.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you though, fam, since like KRS, like in '93, that was probably the last time the Bronx like had like something, the KRS-One album, '93. That's probably the last really like.
I mean, we had Pun. I might piss it off when I talk about Pun, but Pun.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm not doing it today. I'm not doing it.
Okay, thank you.
Deanie.
Yes, sir.
When we talked about the Billboard list, right? I think you and I were in lockstep when we was talking about if Andre 3000 is top 20, Big Boi got to be somewhere in the top 50. The Coop comes in and unveils that we can't even get Big Boi songs played on the radio.
Oh, damn.
What do you have to say? What do you say? Because I said New York niggas is biased, but we be fair. What you got to say about that, Deanie?
That's wild, especially since the high esteem that Outkast gets placed on, that's extreme. But especially since we all say it, Big Boi don't get nowhere near the love he's supposed to get. Like Andre 3000 kind of runs with all that credit, even though he doesn't have a solo. But you know what I'm saying? He's pretty much the one they hold in the highest regards. And I get it out there. I get it out there if you're doing that in ATL, you're doing that in the South. It's just the high regards in New York City. I hear from a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? But I don't really hear a lot of high regards for Big Boi. Coop, why do you think that is?
I don't know exactly why that is, but here's something that just got submitted to me that I think is very, very valid. If you listen to Outkast's first album, Southern Playalistic, it sounds very much acoustically and musically, and them delivery-wise, more West Coast, specifically hieroglyphics inspired, okay? On ATLians, Dre's flow is more East Coast New York. And Big Boi's flow is still hieroglyphics and actually even more Southern now.
Don't say that too loud, Cool, because when we say it, we get tomatoes thrown at us. Y'all bias.
New York bias.
That's the Atlanta dude that said that.
Yeah, this is me saying that. But here's what I am telling everybody and have been saying. Listen to the records that you like from Outkast, because when you're talking about Andre, that's what you're talking about. Because like Deanie said, there's no fucking solo shit. He doesn't. I've literally gone up on our podcast and said this plenty of times. It's like, I can't put him ahead of Prodigy. I love Prodigy. Prodigy broke. I was like, show me the 3-verse song that's like Quiet Storm that Andre has. I'm a Ray fan. I think Ray's top 10. Show me the Incarcerated Scarfaces. Show me Spot Rushers. Shit. Show me Knowledge God. Like, just give me that. even when I talk about Lauryn Hill, I'm like, no, Lost Ones, doo-wop, Final Hour, bars. Listen to the Outkast shit that you like. Me and you, your mama
and your cousin too.
That sound like Big Boi, or does that sound like Andre?
You ain't even watch it.
Throw your hands in the air.
I already know more than half the fucking fans.
If you like Fish and Grits and all the pimp shit, do that sound like Big Boi, or do that sound like Andre? Aha, hush that fuss. Everybody move to the back of the bus. That's like Andre, does that sound like Big Boi? Because when I am hearing all of their big seminal records, about 85% of them sound like Big Boi made the song, and Andre's the one that's coming in and filling the gaps. Now, why is he getting the credit? Is he the better lyricist? Yes. Does he connect with the artist better? Yes. Is he the one making these songs? I don't think so.
Talk. Say, go ahead.
Nigga, put himself.
Big talk from Coop, nigga.
He out here.
I don't know. I don't buy that.
Get the win.
I've met Andre and talked to him on multiple occasions. He is probably the nicest artist I have ever met in my life. We're talking about the music, though.
Yeah, I don't buy that theory. Like, I just, like, unless you were in the studio for those sessions while those albums were being made, like, I don't see how you can make that type of assessment.
Fair. What I'm saying is conjecture. I'm just saying that somebody that's from down here that's followed them closely. Like I don't think you understand. Like, I used to pattern my raps like after how they would rap. You know what I mean? Like, I would write their verses down and try to figure out how they would rap so that I could rap my shit. So it's like when I'm following them cold and hard like that, they're my blueprint. You know what I'm saying? And so when you're saying I wasn't in there with them, like, you're right. But it's somebody that's like from down here that's listening to the records. Like, not me at the time listening to the records. In retrospect, as a grown man listening to the records, it sounds like, damn, it really sounds more Big Boi than Andre inspired is all that I'm saying. And so even if you think Dre is better and you got Dre at 12, well, that makes Big Boi like 15, 16, or 17, not like off the list.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Listen, man. We've only been saying this on the Rap Roundtable since for years.
Oh, here go, John.
I'm gonna wave the Big Boi flag because I've been waving the Big Boi flag for years.
Hold on.
Hold on. Don't act like I did not agree with the point that Coop.
You ain't agree loud enough.
Oh my God!
I've been waving that flag.
How about this?
I think you. Wait, let me just make a point real quick, and I'll swing it back to you, Coop. But I recently saw. I think Nas has like a some type of masterclass video series or something like that, right? And I saw a quick clip of it on the socials, and he was talking about, like, because they were asking him like what I guess the general question was like what makes a great MC to you, or what makes you a great MC, right? And he was saying how it's all in the details. Yes. You know what I mean? It's all in describing the details, like painting the picture. You know what I mean? And to me, between Big Boi and Andre has that gift for describing the details, or describing reciting a lyric that sort of gives you a feeling of how he digs beneath the surface, right? He's not just talking about like the surface level stuff, but he's telling you why it is the way that it is. He's painting pictures. He's telling you, he's giving you those little nuances and details that really mold the full picture together for you. And that's what I respect Andre for, right? Is he that much better than Big Boi, to where Andre is, what was he, 12 or something, and Big Boi's not on the list at all?
Yeah, Big Boi was not
no. That's
after Gucci Mane.
That's just disrespectful and egregious, right? Does he deserve that higher ranking at all with having 0 solo albums? No, not at all. But as far as like just a preference for the art of emceeing and the art of writing and lyricism, and I got it. I'm always gonna go with 3 steps.
No, Sin. I totally agree with everything that you just said. I want to try to submit something to you and offer this to you, because this is what I mean about me is growing up down here, being a hardcore fan of theirs, being addicted. Like, I don't think people understand. Okay, so inside, one of the few things that's in my safekeeping place is like my tickets and my VIP tags from their last show. Like, I'm a fan. I don't even share that with, but that's how I feel about these guys. Though everything that you're speaking to that Andre does, part of what makes it work is because he has Big Boi right there next to him, rooted in something that people can relate to that's not as poetic. I just want to give you 2 songs as an example where he steals the show, but Big Boi is what keeps it rooted and allows him to steal the show, and that would be Miss Jackson and the Art of Storytelling Part 1. Now, Dre's part on Miss Jackson is the part that's most like forever, ever, forever, ever, forever, ever. But if you listen to the bulk and the real content of the song, first of all, Dre only has 1 voice. Big Boi has 2. He's the one that's actually going through the baby mama drama that the song is speaking to. Dre's talking about falling in love and breaking up. Big Boi is actually talking about the subject matter that the song is based on. And that's why I say it seems like Big Boi is the foundation that Dre is able to pivot and do all those creative and poetic things that lyrically make him so inclined. And so why I don't have him as high, or why I can't necessarily put him on Big Boi, is like, well, can you do that for 3 verses without Big Boi? Because Big Boi is shown that he can do that player shit for 3 verses without you. Right. So I'm not discounting anything that you're saying about him as an artist. It just feels like for me, a lot of that is built on the fact that he's had Big Boi there.
Big Boi is the anchor. He is the anchor. Absolutely. 100%.
So about this.
But then hold on. But let's be honest about this though. How big of a fan are we of Big Boi's solo discography without Andre there?
You wasn't rocking that Sir Lucius left foot, Sin?
I mean,
and this is
let's
what we
let's be honest about it.
Because I've been tired of us here letting Sin get these 3 stack takes off. No, we wasn't fucking with it. No. We was not.
Sir, no. Wait, Sir Lucius left foot. That's Big Boi's out.
That's Big Boi shit. Yeah.
See, I came on ignorant. I'm sorry. I'm just so sick of Sincere because I'm on the phone and I got
missed the whole conversation, bro.
And I'm hearing Sincere bloviate in my other ear. And I'm like,
you missed the whole conversation.
Every time we talk about cool. You are guest. Right, we letting you in. Every time we talk about 3 stacks, this is what he does. You know what he does? He does the word salad argument. I like that, Buck. I'm gonna keep running that. It's word salad from this nigga every time he talks about 3 stacks, bro. Yeah. He uses mad words to say nothing. He don't got the solos.
Hold on.
He wasn't talking about him in a GOAT argument until he did that.
Coop just agreed with everything that I said. So he understood what I said. You don't understand what I said.
Because Coop is more reasonable than me.
No. Andre, Sin is, how about this? Sin probably will feel this way. He has a lot of the great poetic qualities that a lot of the great, all-time great New York MCs has now, doesn't he? He has poetic qualities. But this is what I'm saying when I say this. But we don't know how poetic those qualities are because he hasn't given us a Quiet Storm or an incarcerated Scarfaces. Like we don't know what that sounds like. Like I have Ray and Ghost very close to each other because they deserve to be close to each other. Because it's like, even though I know their best shit is together, now I have evidence of these dudes existing outside of each other that says they're epic without each other. I just don't have.
Diddy, pull up, Diddy. And when he did have a chance to give us some hot fire when they made 2 separate solos, what did he give us?
All right. He was no longer in that creative
space. We just wanted some bars.
We're not going to fault people for being in the creative space that they're in.
In a platinum blonde wig, and he danced around, bro.
We're not gonna fault people for being in the creative space that they're in.
I can understand that, but if you're gonna put this man in every single GOAT conversation, like Coop and I and the other Mike, Deanie, Sin, we was at that table, we had our drinks and we were breaking it down, and we all agreed when we start talking about GOATs, we gotta start pushing resumes to the table.
Yeah, right.
So how about this?
We've already had the resume conversation, and I've already said he doesn't have the resume, so he doesn't deserve to be in the ranking. He doesn't deserve to be in the ranking. How many more times y'all need me to say it?
How about saying, do you think Andre deserves to be higher than somebody like a Beanie Siegel? Talking is nasty.
He don't even have a legible battle. At least Beans went toe to toe and beat Kiss, depending on who you ask.
Beans beat Kiss.
I don't know.
No. I still have the Empire Strikes Back CD where he's
talking about it, Coop.
Yo, mate, so don't we got to get to these super chats?
Oh shit!
I don't know if we got any new super chats.
I think we missed one. Hold on.
All I know is
find it.
All I know is Big Boi. You know what? Here's what I could say. And now I'm gonna take off. I'm gonna put the Born Gifted said I had the steel chair. I'm gonna put the steel chair down. I think what happened to Big Boi and 3 Stacks over time is kind of like what happened to Prodigy and Havoc. There was a time when we were all much younger, where it was a clear divide as far as who was the nicer between P and Havoc.
Yeah. And
then around the early Nards to mid Nards, Havoc passed them. Even Big Noy kind of passed P. I'm sorry. I gotta tell you what it is. I'm talking about
Infamy?
Huh?
Talking about Infamy?
Around there. Once P lost the pocket, because for me, like P used to be one of the most in-pocket niggas ever. I'm talking about effortlessly. Yeah. And I don't know what happened. Like he just lost it.
Yeah. I post
and I feel like Big Boi, as we know, 3 Stacks did his artistic thing. Big Boi was just right there, just getting progressively nicer. He didn't wear any platinum blonde wigs, but he got nicer, and people did not talk about it. And we hear now, Big Boi. To me, we always talk about slippage and our older rappers losing a step. How much steps has Big Boi really lost when we hear him rap to this day?
Not a lot.
Not a lot. No.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. In 06, when Big Boi came out with that Purple City All-Star shit, that Kryptonite shit, we was rocking to that. I don't know who was in high school at the time. I used to be on shit at the time. You know what I mean? When so Big Boi actually had like a little solo run that he was, we was fucking with him. I'm not gonna lie.
Cool.
I know.
But then here comes Andre out of nowhere, out of left field, with Life of the Party.
No,
just breaks the entire internet.
He might be the scene stealers. Like as far as like scene stealing verses, it's like you probably gonna have to go to Biggie and Nas's best shit to find a better scene stealer verse. Because when he shows out International Players Anthem, the Walk It Out mix. No, I mean that's what he does. He's gifted like that, but everybody else that we hold as high as we hold him, they just have the songs that we can go to. That's why I bring up Prodigy and Ray, because a lot of people like with me, they like, but Coop, Prodigy really ain't got no great solo like stuff either. But I was like, but he made Quiet Storm on a Mobb Deep album.
Yeah. I agree. I just
that Keep It Thorough album is kind of tough, bro.
I just don't like people dismissing the gift. You just called it gifted. I don't like when people dismiss the gift. That's what I don't like.
Yeah, but then are we talking about great or best?
See, this is what I mean. So Andre falls more for me in that category. Like, how about this? This is what I used to tell people. If we're on a football field and I get to pick the wide receivers and you pick him first, and there's Jerry Rice and Randy Moss right there, and you pick Jerry Rice, I'm going to whoop your ass that day because I'm going to take Randy Moss because talent-wise, what he can do for a game, Jerry can't do.
See?
Now, for a season, and this is Randy is the shit. Like, Randy was my favorite player. Barry Sanders, Deion Sanders, and Randy Moss were my favorite players. Oh, but for a season, I got to take Jerry because Jerry's going to show up to work. He's going to work out. He's going to have other people ready in the offseason. He's going to run every route precisely. But just out there on the field, talent-wise, oh, no. I'm taking Randy. Andre's more like Randy. It's like, that's the talent. It's like, oh, no, I get you for a day. Yeah, it's like, no, I got to deal with all your other shit for an album. It's like, no. Because here's the thing. The stories that we hear down here are different in terms of like how he records or how he doesn't. You get what I'm saying? And so all that talent and all those gifts, yeah, they might matter for a day. Like when we need you to go to the studio to contribute a verse or something like International Players Anthem or something like that. But for the totality of it, it's hard for me to take him over Big Boi at this point. Big Boi shows up to work. He made the way he move. You know what I'm saying?
Like if you asking me for a 16, a 32, or 48 bar, it might be. There's not too many guys who can stand in the pocket with under 3,000.
Was 16 ain't enough? The Rick Ross joint?
Know what I mean? But think about what he did with Kanye last year.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I was just saying that's what we saying best. If you asking me to stand in the ring and do a collab and it's just a feature, it's not too many that could come out of that and be okay. You know what I mean? But where's the body of work?
He stunned it on Tech 9 on that Carter shit. Remember? Today I feel like Neon Gray.
Carter 5, he's talking about. Or Carter 4.
That project, though.
I think it was 5.
We need a rap album. Full. Not a.
We're all in agreement in that. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So how about this?
We broke sin, y'all.
I've been saying that the whole time.
I never heard it.
If he had one classic rap album, I would be okay with it. I'm like, if Method Man had one classic rap album, I would put him in my top 10, like without any question, because he has literally everything else. Andre has everything else.
True.
You don't think Tikal suffered from timing? I don't think Tikal is that far off of being a classic. I just felt like the time it dropped was a tough time to drop something that wasn't, you know what I mean?
I think Tikal is probably the most underrated rap album maybe ever at this point, because the way that it, production-wise, the way that it is held up, you know, we don't talk about the production on that album because of the production that came on the 3 albums after it.
Yeah.
But the production on that album is actually what I look to. Like, I can still bob my head the Biscuits and Bring the Pain and Release Your Duff. What do y'all think?
Facts.
I'm in the same boat.
Bring the Pain still hits.
The Method Man remix. Method Man remix is tough. Mr. Sandman. I forgot Det got busy on there. My personal moment was like Meth versus Chef, because that's when I realized these niggas was really fighting for beats. So like all that shit like these niggas is really rapping each other for beats. I was like, that's some different. I'm from Atlanta, so for Wu-Tang, for me, I didn't understand the competitive nature of hip hop until I heard them competitively on tracks. I'm like, oh no, these niggas trying to out-rap each other for these beats. That's different.
Like that was such a unique time. I think as time moves along, we not even appreciated the way we should. Like what RZA did. Sin is he's from a proper perspective. Like what RZA did in that was it like 5-6 year window. Sin.
That's
unheard of.
The best. It's
93, 97.
The best run of producers ever had. No hip hop producers ever made better music in that span of time ever.
That's a fact. And that's why the other night when we were talking about golden eras, I was like, look, man, only one era had Wu-Tang. From 93 to 97, give us like four or five
classics. Yeah.
I think, how about this? There's 4 certified classics, and then there's like 2 possible and like 4 third. Like, think about this: is like Iron Man is like 4th or 5th on the list from that run. That's absurd.
Yeah.
Like I'm not better than Liquid Swords, The Purple Tape, or Enter the Wu, in my opinion. It would be 4th in that run.
That's wild.
That's wild. So let's get to the elephant in the room before we wrap this up.
I think there are a couple super chats. Antoine 1486. Did we get to that one, Mace?
Nah, we didn't. Go ahead, son.
All right. Nas tore down at the Garden. He was in Section F on the floor near the stage, going crazy. Shouts to you, man. Like I could only imagine what that energy was like.
Let me hold $1.
Yeah, facts. I would have enjoyed bumping into y'all. While in NY. Yo, next time, listen, the New York State of Mind tour is coming to Brooklyn in September 27th.
Oh.
Yeah, maybe we'll bump into each other.
7th.
Nah, ain't no maybe. We setting it. Yo, listen, cool. I don't know if you're gonna come back to New York for that, but if you decide to, either way, we're gonna set something up.
The show in Brooklyn.
Yeah. September 27th.
Yeah.
No, I'll pull up. We'll make it shake.
We gonna do a meet and greet with everybody that's in this chat who spends their money, who tune in, they tap in, they fuck with us. We're gonna set something up where we can all link up, break bread, have a couple of drinks.
My birthday is a few days after that, so like I might pull up and stay for a little bit and get it.
That's crazy because the show's on a Wednesday, bro.
That's why my birthday and like on Sunday or something like that.
I'll take the whole week off. I don't give a fuck.
Right. They got the Jersey show, the Atlantic City show on Friday. I guess that's why they did that.
Well, you know, they do like the NBA joint. Once you in that little area, you just hit all the cities that's close to, make the travel easy, you know what I mean? But definitely,
that's gonna be monstrous stuff.
Have y'all come through, or we at the show together, something where we could all just vibe out and really, you know what I mean? Build.
It's gonna be better weather. We gonna be out there. Yeah.
Hell yeah!
I was already talking.
And I think I lost one. Yo, my bad to you if you're still tuning in. Let me know who you were in the chat. But I know somebody said that You Can't Stop Us Now off the Nas Untitled album is better than anything that's on To Pimp a Butterfly. I'll just go out and say you bugging the fuck out, my brother.
It's just not.
They want smoke.
That's just not true. It's just not
true. It just isn't.
Nah,
it's a cool song.
Some of these comments sometimes like they just reach to say something like love me meticulous or more meticulous. I feel like he just wants beef with the rap roundtable. He just pulls up.
He just wants war, man.
But to the elephant in the room, you know, we've seen it in the chat. They've been arguing about it for an album. The rhetoric, the narrative right now is that after this 4-album run or 3 in a pop, I don't know if you want to call Magic a full-length album or EP. Is it an album? Yes.
I call it an album.
Magic is an album.
Yeah. All right. So 4 albums in a row. Unanimously, they're saying that Nas is the GOAT. They being the Nasirians, the Escobarians. they are saying that Nas is the GOAT. You know, we tippy-toed around it. I didn't want to tip my hand too much in the spot because I'm like, you know, I got Coop coming on the show. I can't give it too much at the bar. His man's was fishing. The other Mike, we're going to call him, was fishing. And I'm like, I can't really say nothing too crazy right now because we got to do the pod on Monday. So, Coop, unanimous decision. Esco's the GOAT.
I will tell you this. I didn't realize how important this run was for his studio to stadium flow until this run, because he has a stadium flow now with this catalog that I don't think existed before. Like think about this. If he would have done the Garden prior to this run, Nas the Don would have had to get played. He didn't need that record.
Flex loved that record.
Right?
New York City.
That might be the last record Nas made, though. Whatever. That dude a mess, but whatever. but he is. Something wrong with fam. Like, he need to shackle off his feet so he can dance. But I say this to say I think what he did with this run is that, well, all the things that the whole Vengers, Lord, J4, will kind of fill your gaps too. And so my question to you, Jar, wouldn't be, you know, is he the greatest? It's like, well, shit, what else does he need to do for you to be the greatest? I mean, hasn't he all his bases for you?
I feel like Sincere and Coop had a huddle before this and said, we're gonna show you niggas how to politic on a rap round table tonight. Well played, Coop. My man threw the reverse card on the table, working Uno, sent it right
quick.
Back.
Well played.
Well played. All right, I'll step into the fight.
That guy's a pro, man.
So the chat is calling me. I'm sorry. The chat is calling me a horrible Nas fan again.
Oh shit!
Because I don't like the Untitled, because I don't think it's great. Somebody said it was great.
Not great.
Let me say something, Sin. Don't ever love me more meticulous about anything. In his opinion, every Nas album hit. Every Nas album is 5 mics. You're not supposed to be objective about Nas. It should be crazy. Love Nas.
Distant Relatives is the best Nas album.
Anyway,
love Nas more meticulous, right?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joe.
I know Love more meticulous. She's very
Miss LB in here saying that Coop should put a case on me. See how I set you tonight? Damn, LB. That's why I got a case on you right now. Anyway, Jack Lane says you said on According to Hip Hop a year ago that Nas is the GOAT, right? So I did say that, but my brother's here. I'm gonna let you in on the secret, Coop. I don't know if I've told you this before, but they know. They know. The listeners here know. You shouldn't trust me. You know, I'm not trustworthy. When it comes to this topic, the answer is always Jay-Z. Now you know what? Nas has had his run. We love him. I love it. I love the music. I think if we did like a metric score of all the albums, grade for grade, I might have given this 4-album run the highest grade of the podcast. I'm willing to put money on that. I feel like I have, right? But at the end of the day, you know, this is one little elephant in the room, and I'm gonna be Leroy Green now. I'm gonna embody the spirit of Nas. What do I need Nas to do? I need Nas.
Yes. What does he need to do?
To when he drops, you know, when he descends from the rafters, from the crowd, that like things just happen. You ever watch Dragon Ball when they power up and shit just start flying and all of that shit? When the Hov arrives, things move.
Jar, you trying to say his aura is not big enough?
It ain't Hove's aura. It's not. When that man drops, people get mad.
Hold on.
Our viewers get mad. The dislikes go up. The think pieces go up.
I mean, you see what happened for a verse.
The news reports go up. Trust me, when that Jay-Z album happens, and it's gonna happen this year, because if nothing else, Jay-Z, he don't like when Nas get too much light. I can admit that. He doesn't like when Nas gets too much light. He's like, wait a minute, he did The Garden? But then again, 20 years ago, The Garden sold out in a few minutes. Friday night, Mace, I looked on the ticket website. They said it was sold out, but I could have still bought a ticket at 8 p.m. So
we didn't have seats. Wait.
Damn it.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Shout out to the homie Trent.
Hold on. We're not doing that.
For the show, bro.
We're not doing that. Number one.
Shout out my nigga Trent.
2 points. Let me cook.
I told you. I got cases.
That's nasty though.
Everybody clear out.
For all you niggas. Y'all never get me to say nothing about Nas. If I'm talking about Nas, I'm gonna talk about Jay-Z all year.
You don't want to hear me spit no sense right now.
It's Deanie's fault. It's Mace's fault a little bit. And
you don't want me to
Cat's
drop
fault.
facts right now.
I missed one show, and y'all got crazy, and I promised y'all I will put cases on everybody.
Oh, damn it, man.
PM on a Friday night, I went to the SeatGeek app.
So you're standing inside the garden.
2 points.
With your ticket, checking to see if other tickets are available.
2 points. 2 points.
That's some gangster shit.
So I'm gonna pass it back. I'm gonna pass it. I promise you I will.
Wow.
The Black Snob was at the show, and he told us that, yo, I just came for a t-shirt, and I realized I could buy a ticket at like 8:20 p.m. He bought a ticket to the Nas show. How was it a sellout?
Can I answer now? Can I answer now?
As long as all the tickets are sold by the end of the night,
the tickets will be sold out immediately.
All right. We understand that SeatGeek is a reseller app, right?
Like Jay-Z.
He's not gonna let me talk. He's not gonna let me talk because his whole argument falls apart.
It doesn't. There is no argument. Nobody don't like Jay-Z.
We understand that SeatGeek is a reseller app, right?
Okay.
So people that can't make the show and know that they can't make the show, they gotta hawk their tickets off, and they go to SeatGeek to sell their tickets. These are tickets that were already sold.
Can I already paid their money? Go ahead. I'm gonna
Nas already made money. So if they can't make the show, they're gonna hawk it on SeatGeek. That's number one, right? Number two, there was no SeatGeek 20 years ago. So if somebody, let's say somebody,
here he goes.
Right. Let's say the Jay.
We didn't need SeatGeek. He's sold the Garden out in minutes. And to be clear, the Black Snob bought his tickets, according to him, on Ticketmaster. He didn't even buy it on SeatGeek.
Oh, damn it, man! Top rope shit.
Jar.
I saw.
I tried.
Let's say
everybody.
Let's say
I'm putting that on a shirt.
Let's say somebody that bought Jay tickets 20 years ago can't make the show. What are they gonna do? They're gonna just, contact the people that they know. They might try to scalp on the street, get arrested. No, we have SeatGeek now, right? So that's what we saw. Also, was that a Jay-Z solo show at MSG 20 years ago?
Jay-Z and friends.
I declare war.
About the Black Album show?
It was not. It was not a solo show.
The show he told Kanye to stay home for?
What I'm saying, we can't compare those things. Okay, here's why we can't compare those.
What
things.
happened when the Barclays opened? Nas
sold it out for Dolo by himself.
Did it sell out the Barclays for
wasn't no and friends.
It's not that he just sold it out for Dolo. He sold it out in year number 30 for Dolo. Jay sold out the Garden in year number 7.
Jay would sell out the Garden right.
I mean, let's be honest though. If Jay said I'm gonna be in the Garden tomorrow, the shit will sell out overnight, bro. Like
overnight.
Like, let's be honest though.
That would happen.
You know what?
Yeah.
But we would still see tickets on SeatGeek.
Because be clear, Y'all Nas fans,
just want to be $40.
Tell the truth. Y'all like the fun on Jay, but when Jay moves, shit happens.
I'm just keeping it a buck. The truth is the truth, Sin. The truth. Them shit would have never been $40.
Word to Mace. Word to Mace. Word to Mace. Mace, back me up, please. Nas is for the people. He's not trying to have $500, $600 tickets. Get out of here.
I mean, there was $400 tickets though, bro. There was $400 tickets.
Oh, it's going for 2G.
Not in the fucking rafters.
Not in the boonies.
Exactly.
That whole show, it would have been a rack to sit on the roof, bro. You know how it goes.
Out of here, bro. And Ticketmaster, shouts to Non+. Ticketmaster does resale too on their own.
They do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Non+. They had to get off of those tickets. It's all right, bro. I get it.
Yo, Jar, chill.
Jar, let me submit something to you. Let's say
sold out the garden. Fuck it.
Hold on. Let's say all these things that you're saying are true, Jarvin.
Right.
Does Madison Square Garden? It's going to sell out in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you got for me? You don't got
That's
the song?
not all I said. Well, that was a slanderous portion.
You don't got the run. Like, what do you have? If that's all you got, my man's still in first. I'll give you that. It's like,
look,
is he more charismatic and has a bigger aura? Yeah, but Jar, when we were sitting down, it's like I told you, the only reason we having this conversation is because this guy's not here, because he was really more charismatic and a better song maker.
Oh, you cheating, Coop. You cheating.
Let's take
not the Biggie argument, Coop.
Mm.
Like, what's Jay aura look like if my man is still right here? Nas aura was
we gotta be serious now.
Currently, as we speak right now, in 2023, as of this moment, I can say Jay is the biggest star, and he will sell out MSG in minutes. Absolutely, but Nas is the better artist.
I just want to say to the people in the chat that, you know, if you watch wrestling, right, what you just saw right there is called a heel promo.
Wow.
Every last one of you. I see the chat. Y'all upset right now, but in all seriousness. For me, it's like, I guess, and that's the thing. This is the latest argument. You kind of touched on it with Big Boi and 3 Stacks. You said that 3 Stacks, when it comes to Big Boi's more active, right? That is the beautiful thing about the Jay-Z and Nas debate is that there's always different layers. Now it's the activity argument. I'm not winning that. Right now,
it's the quality of the activity. It's not even
exactly. It's a 4-peat of classic to near classic. I can't argue that. But at the same time, for me as a fan and as an admitted fan, because I hate when they do that, they act like I don't be telling y'all I'm a Jay-Z fan. Like I wear it. I wear the cape proudly. I'm never going to be the person that says that what you did doesn't count as much anymore. He did what he did already.
Okay.
I would say Nas needed this 4-peat for this to be a conversation. I'll stand on that. If it stops at not even that, what was the album before Nas said? Because to me, Nas said don't count. Kanye ain't do right.
Life is good.
If it stops at life is good, there is no conversation to be had. In my opinion, album for album.
For album. Here's what
we said at the bar. I might be willing to say that Nas is the better rapper. But if we're talking about greater rapper and we're talking about resumes that has to do strictly with what your accolades are when it comes to rapping, I'm giving that to Jay 10 times out of 10.
Hold on, so let's pause. Hold on, well, let's pause right quick, Jarv, if you feel that way. Let's stop at Life is Good right quick.
Bet.
And that's 2012, right? And let's cut Jay off right there. Or let's give Jay 2014 to 2014 since he came in 2 years after Nas with his first album to make it fair. Now, what's Jay's best 5 albums?
Best 5?
Reasonable.
Easily reasonable. Reasonable's in there. Blueprint's in there. Easily. Black Album's in there. Easily.
They're in there.
I think American Gangster is in there.
There.
Volume 1 is in there.
Okay.
That's 5.
I would agree with that 5. Now, you're telling me that you think that 5 at 2012 to 2014 is better than Illmatic, It Was Written, The Lost Tapes, Stillmatic, and Life is Good?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
See, I think that's where we differ is because because after your third Day album, I feel like you lose steam and my steam stays. Because after Black, Blueprint, and Reasonable Doubt, I feel like there's a drop off in Volume 1. Even though I personally love Volume 1, the singles killed Volume 1. And American Gangster just isn't as good as the other 4. Like the 5th best album on that Nas run that I just named, His life is good, in my opinion, because the Lost Tapes is better than those last 2 J albums that you.
I think. See, and this is the thing. Like, I'm gonna answer that in a second.
And I'm not bringing up Godson, what made you look or get down.
We would have sent called it.
We gonna get there. Better spot. But like, let's be clear. And this is why I get mad at the chat. They seem to take such offense with me being a Jay-Z fan. It's like, we got to get out of this habit of being mad that somebody doesn't like your favorite rapper. To me, that's boring. You know what I mean? So what if it be like, oh, Nas fans got your views, your subs up. Thank you. But that don't mean I'm going to like Jay-Z any less because you guys improve business.
Well,
like who you want to like. But the argument you say Stillmatic, it was written, Stillmatic, Lost Tapes, and what was the other one? Life is Good.
Yeah.
To me, Stillmatic in that conversation, for me, is where it always gets shaky because I feel like Stillmatic, I've said it on the pod, is a product of the beef more so than the front to back great body of work. There's some very high highs on Stillmatic. But if you asking me about bodies of work, the follow-up, Godson is better than Stillmatic.
Hold on. No. Mace, you want to chime in? Mace, you want to chime in?
I'm a Stillmatic guy, to be honest.
Yeah.
Stillmatic is different.
Is my favorite Nas album, but you know what I mean? I've hold it, that might be a weird argument because I feel like I'm the only one who ever has Stillmatic above It Was Written, to be honest. That's, you know what I mean? So I don't know if you want me in that argument, sir, to be honest with you.
Hold on.
So, but I feel like I heard, and I shout to our guy Ease. I saw a video where he mentioned that Stillmatic is almost like a highlight reel album. Like, just like Job said, the highs are so high on Stillmatic. The artistry, the lyricism, you know what I mean? Even the beats. They try to say the beats is whack, you know what I mean? Even the beats. So Stillmatic, I'm a Stillmatic guy, to be honest with you.
Can we pause on Stillmatic right quick? Job, when you're saying highlight reel, well, most of the damn album is a highlight reel. That's what I'm saying. It's not like there's 1 or 2 highlights. You don't think the intro, The Blood of a Slave, Heart of a King is a highlight? Ether, You're the Man, Rewind, One Mic. It's like highlight after highlight.
Second Childhood.
Destroy and Rebuild, The Flyest, What Goes Around. There's like 10 fucking highlights on there. It's like
you really believe that Stillmatic is better than Godson?
How about this? For as much as I love some Made You Look and Get Down, the best mic performance between the 2 albums is What Goes Around on Stillmatic. Okay. The best song between the 2 albums is Made You Look. But after Made You Look and Get Down, the rest of the songs would go on Stillmatic side, in my opinion. Like if you were picking the 10 best songs from the 2 albums, Made You Look and Get Down would be the only songs from Godson that would make the top 10 because the other 8 songs.
Last Real Nigga Alive,
my nigga alive, bro. Yeah.
Shout out to Mace. But that's 3 out of 10. The rest of the records.
But you're naming a lot of songs that I hold in high regard.
What about how you
Last
feel
Real
about
Nigga Alive is classic. I heard Last Real Nigga Alive on a Clue tape before I even heard it on Stillmatic. Shit is fire. You know what I'm saying? Rewind is fire, all-time great rap song. But I feel like within those high highs, there's some songs that we can definitely bang the skip button on. I think Godson to me, for me, again, because it's all subjective when you know, because now they mad. What's his name? D-Lo Morgan, you're a clown. D-Lo.
Oh, damn.
Say it to me when you see
it. Sheesh.
Jake Short said, "Jaw from the barbershop area where facts don't matter." This again, is it not facts? Is it facts not mattering, or is it the fact that I'm not saying what y'all want to hear? Because it's so funny to me that when I start talking nice about Nas, great job, Jav. As soon as we start talking about Jay-Z, Jav don't know what he's talking about. I'm a hypocrite.
You ain't shit, Jav.
Right. I play this game, then as soon as I start talking about Jay-Z, it's a problem. But when I said that Speechless was a flawless victory, y'all celebrated. Pom-poms is out. Y'all can't have it both ways.
Real quick, there's some very hot takes in the super chats about that man.
That's why I was thinking. I saved it for this show.
Not Ms. LB is going to whoop our ass if we don't read her.
Ms. LB don't hurt us. You got multiple cases now that have been up to felonies.
Damn.
I know my felonies well. We all got felonies because y'all be lying too. We all lying together.
Non-plus. Hold on. Hot take number 1 coming in. He says, Non-plus says Jay-Z cannot sell out MSG off of his last 3 albums.
This is what I'm saying.
If it was just off of his last 3 albums, then he wouldn't do it.
It does. What you mean by that? What is that? What is that? But think about what he said. Just off his last 3 albums. His name is selling the garden. It don't matter what songs he do.
They know that those other hits are coming after those 3 album cuts, bro.
And if y'all want to say that, matter of fact, and if y'all want to say that, We were all, Mace, you weren't in the garden. But the other 4 of us, we were in the garden, right? When was the garden the loudest on Friday night? Was it during the KD section or was it during the classics section? Tell the truth.
I honestly felt like a lot of people, I don't want to say a lot, but there was a nice section of people that were there that were really weren't even into the classic, the last 3 joints. They were there because they wanted to see Nas just do his joints. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of casual listeners, bro. He's a legend. You got a legend in the town. People gonna pop out regardless because of what he already did.
So when I say what I'm saying, this is a lot of hypocrisy and there's a lot of bad takes. If y'all want me to, matter of fact, chat, if y'all want me to say Jay-Z is trash, let's give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. and look in the chat.
Just to hear him say it. To that end, you know, speaking to Jay's celebrity status, if I mispronounce this, please forgive me. Raka Shai or Raka Shi, they said Jay would only sell out overnight because of Beyonce fans.
I was actually going to say there is some Beyonce factor now that comes.
You got a bunch of micro Gibbs in here, bro.
Y'all gotta be kidding me with that one.
No.
ASAP Rocky ain't selling out shit.
What's with the fascination with B, bro?
And then the same person, Rakashi, Jay-Z has gimmicks to sell albums. He likes to fake retire.
I mean, he retired.
We gotta do better, man.
This is what I'm saying. These are the takes. Y'all get mad at me for being a fan, but this is what y'all say. Like, yeah, are we serious here? But then, like, the Beyonce argument is terrible, bro.
It is, man.
It's terrible. If you want to talk about, and this, you know what? I'm gonna give the people credit because it's the ultimate checkmate move. It's beautiful, actually. In one hand, they'll say, "Don't talk about your money," well, Jay-Z's money, right? Then in the other hand, they'll say Jay-Z's at where he's at because of Beyonce. But then I'll say Jay got Beyonce because he was Jay-Z. And Beyonce helped him get into those rooms that leveled him up as a businessman. And as soon as I say that, they'll circle back to, there you go, talking about his money again. So it's like, I can't win.
Sorry, Jar. Jay Short, I'm not sure what the super chat is in reference to, but he says, hop in the DeLorean, Jar. It's smartphones in 2023. I'm not sure what you said. Warranted that super chat. But shouts to you, Jay Short, for the little super chat there. Marquise, this is like Peyton and Tom Brady. Even if Peyton had a higher peak, Brady was close. Jay might have had a higher peak. Quotes, big air quotes and might. But Nas was close. Nas, like Brady, kept going. This is why he gets the edge.
And then Leah M says, be fair, Nas only sold out with KD. No, Nas sold out because he's Nas Escobar in Madison Square Garden. Stop. Because this whole rhetoric that Nas is some underground hero. Nas
to her point. To her point, though, it was called the KD Trilogy show. We didn't know if he was going to do his clap. We could assume, and it would probably be fair assumptions, as it turned out to be. But we didn't know if he was going to do his old stuff. It might have just been a whole KD show, and he still sold it out.
Let's be honest, bro. If he just said Nas is going to be at the Garden, it would be the same effect, bro. The KD shit didn't really put all the butts in the seats, bro.
Bro, come on. It's
like
Nas.
Y'all wanted to see Nas. Like, even if it was, even if the last two albums was Nasir, Life is Good, and fucking the shit with the disciples on the cover, Streets Disciples. Even if it was them 3 albums, Nas is selling out pulled up, bro. Period. Like, this is Nas. Like,
and that's the thing, when people say I be hating on Nas, I'll be the one in here telling y'all lying. Nas is not an underground hero. He's a superstar. He's been a superstar for over
30 fucking years, man.
Right.
He has a lot of fans.
Though. Own the fact that he's a superstar.
Well, see, this okay. So Mace, to that point, this is why I was focused on like, well, the only thing left for this man really to do is run the numbers up. Because when you look at him in relationship to who he is compared to contemporary-wise, which is Biggie, Pac, and Jay, you know what I'm missing, right? The numbers, their numbers are great. And so when I'm kicking ass about 107 and 95, that's what it's about, because I'm looking at it from the perspective, it's like, well, he really has all of your bases covered. except for some of what Jarvis is alluding to is that like, well, Jay gonna sell out the Garden quicker. That's that following. That's that buzz. That's always being on radio. That's always being involved on the scene. That's the media helping control some of that narrative.
But let's be clear,
and here's the thing.
Jay-Z's not on the radio like that right now.
Hold on. Here's the thing, though. Right before Nas did one mic,
getting prayed every day too.
Right before Nas did one mic, he spoke to this. He said, "Yo, like all I ever did was put the art first. Fuck all that Hollywood shit. You know what I mean?" And there is a point to be made for him being where he is today, selling out the Garden, being on this, 4P KD run, while putting the art first and saying "fuck the Hollywood shit." You know what I mean? And I think as Nas fans, that's what we see as a triumph. That's what we hold up as as the trophy here for Nas. You know what I mean?
To play Frank Sinatra's My Way.
and then it's crazy to me, like, they mad. They like, you a hater. I done said Nas is a superstar 3 times in the last 5 minutes. They didn't even hear that, right? Our homie said he sold the ticket. The ticket said King's disease on the ticket. I know all of that. If Nas is saying, again, Nas just did a tour with what was it? Ghostface and Ray. Ray was on that tour, yes?
Yeah.
And it did numbers, yes?
Yeah.
Why?
The Wu-Tang shit, yeah.
Because they're legendary artists.
That's all I'm saying.
Let's not act like if it wasn't the 30-year anniversary of Illmatic, the shit would have been the same, bro. Let's not act like it would have happened.
You're missing the point. You're missing the point, Deanie. If it was the 30th anniversary of Illmatic, I think a lot of people would understand that more. Like we would expect it more to sell out quicker. But the fact that it was titled after the KD series, which is not but 2 years old, that's new shit. How many people 30 years in could sell out the Garden?
It's ridiculous.
To the last
new
2 years
music.
Of their discography.
Yeah, I understand that. But so what you're saying is no KD. Nas doing a one night only at the Garden. It don't move numbers. You're missing the point. I'm not missing the point.
The point is
don't do that.
That for all we know, it could have been just KD and done no classic.
Hold on, time out. I'm asking you a blanket question. I'm not missing your point. I'm asking you because my point is he didn't need KD to sell out the Garden.
True. Yeah.
That's my point.
Okay.
But Jarv, what Sin is trying to tell you is that the marketing and the promotion and the branding for this.
Oh yeah. I can see what you're saying.
King's disease.
Absolutely.
And so we weren't even promised Magic songs.
Exactly.
I can see that perspective.
That's
but
all
walking into that concert, we've all gone to shows. We already know. We know.
Niggas got to do their hits.
Maybe that's where I'm fucking up at in this argument. I'm walking into that arena knowing that I'm going to get some of them classics. What I didn't know what I was going to get was Mary,
Slick,
or AZ.
Slick was big. Right.
A little bit of Hit Boy. I thought I would have got more Hit Boy, to Sin's point when he was like, yo, I think Hit Boy should be on stage the whole night. In retrospect, it's probably a good thing he wasn't because Hit was smack. You know what I mean?
He's a little awkward up there. Yeah.
But the point of the matter is, I walked in there knowing that we were going to get some classics. I didn't know how the show was going to play out. I didn't know if there was going to be an opening act. But I walked into Madison Square Garden fully expecting a KD melody for all three with a little bit of magic. And at some point, is he going to mix it in? Is it going to be breaks? Is it going to be an intermission? But we're going to get some classics. Yeah. That's what I walked into the arena expecting because he's a legacy act. And legacy acts are always, they're not going to let their fans walk out of there without hitting them over the head with the classics.
Got to.
New York,
True.
In the Garden,
MSG?
Well, we going to get that.
You knew at least 10 classic records was going to be done, at least, bare minimum.
Jar, I agree with you on that. The fact that it was the Garden, and I was telling people that outside the show because everybody's running up on me like, Coop, what are you performing? I know you got the set list. I was like, no, I don't have a set list. Don't play those type of games. I was like, but it's hard for me to believe that he's not going to perform some classic stuff because it's the Garden. Even though it says King Steve, just me as a fan was thinking, well, this is Nas doing the Garden, so it's going to be hard for him to not do It Ain't Hard to Tell.
Right. And let's be clear. I'll lay the whole thing out. I told Nas fans, you guys did a hell of a job getting Nas to this point. Y'all missed that. Fuck radio. Nas fans did that. I said that.
Was this Nas's first headline at MSG?
I think so.
I've seen Nas a lot of times.
That's another caveat, though. That's another reason we gotta go see Nas this show. This is his first headline at MSG.
Yeah, he did Barclay with Mary, not maybe a couple years ago, a few years ago.
You know, MSG.
But I don't think he did MSG.
Him and R. Kelly back in my senior year of high school did a pretty big tour together. When they did you ever think? Remember when he did that remix? They went on tour.
Yeah.
Because I saw them when they were in Charlotte, and that was a pretty big thing. That was sold out. But granted, that was R. Kelly nasty ass at his peak too.
Kels was cooking. He was cooking.
It was Kels on a baby time, fam. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. All right, let's get to some more of these super chats. Mad Max.
I heard you, but the slander's louder. I told y'all I was slandering y'all. I literally said I got cases on y'all. The new fans don't know. I'm gonna do that again. The new people don't know, but the regulars know I got cases on y'all. So I'm always gonna say because y'all did that to yourselves. It's sinful too.
Don't put me in
I missed one show.
One. Anarchy.
All right.
Anarchy, bro.
Mad Max.
Wow.
Mad Max says, Jarv, when they bring up B, just say Nas tried to make Khaleesi's B, and we saw how that worked out.
I ain't saying that. I've said enough tonight.
Guys,
damn it.
Mad Max with another ball, man.
From the top row.
Mad Max, we don't cut the Khalees talk. Cut that.
Word. Rakachi says J and B have songs together, her fans will show up. So again, giving the credit to B instead of
Jesus, man.
Black Man 26 didn't say nothing. He just hit us with the super chat. Shouts to you, bro. Appreciate you. Leroy, we checked more boxes overall musically. Be real. Not we. He says, sorry, let me rephrase. Who checked more boxes overall musically? Be real.
Musically?
What are these? Listen, what are these boxes?
No, what are the boxes? Because I'm giving that to Nas. Musically.
Right. If Jay wins on the ancillary things, not the core things. He doesn't win lyricism, storytelling, and albums and catalog.
Nas took more artistic risks. Like, let's be clear. Again, I can say all of these things. He took more risks, sometimes his own detriment. But as far as being an artist, he took the most. The nigga made Rewind, bro. Like, come on. Rewind. Like, at the end of the day, we can stop right there. He made Rewind.
I think it's interesting that even Jav has kind of settled into the Nas is better quality argument. Because I'll argue that once Jay was active, which is 96 on, every year they both dropped an album. Jay dropped a better album.
But that's what I always say. That when the guy who came out of retirement with Kingdom Come all the way through 444, that guy.
Sin disagrees.
Volume 3, bro. Volume
3 was better than both I Am and Nas.
No, it wasn't. Don't
do that,
Volume 3.
Come on, Mace.
It's not better.
Volume 3 happened.
I Am has some joints,
Volume
bro.
3 didn't happen.
Yeah, hold on.
Mike H said, I'd already seen Nas twice. I flew to New York to see him perform the KD series. Shouts to you, Mike H. I just want to go run through these real quick. Jay Short says, doesn't the head-to-head battle factor in? Nas beat Jay one-on-one.
Yes.
We'll get into that, but we've beat that argument to death.
Yeah,
and I think that's it.
Jay lost. We know that.
Volume 3? It's better than
Volume 3. No.
That's
Volume
crazy.
3 happened, bro. Let's not.
Honestly, do we even need to compare I Am, Nostradamus, and Volume? Can we just throw all of those out and just keep the nice moments from it?
You don't like I Am?
All of them got some joints, but none of them, you know what I mean?
True. So Ghetto was on that, man. So we can't just throw that in the trash.
Skips is on Volume 3,
it's
bro.
not trash. I like Come and Get Me more than So Ghetto.
Yo, that's what Volume 3 got
songs you gotta skip to get to Come and Get Me, bro.
I like Nas's Come and Get Me more than Ho's, to be honest.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I give you that, Mace.
Same year.
That's the shit with Primo. I respect it.
Yes.
He performed it on Chris Rock shit live.
Yes.
You know what? The intro to Jay's Come and Get Me. That 116 before the actual song came in, that shit was crazy.
Tough.
Yeah. That shit goes off.
Shoot 'em Up's better than both of those records to me. The shit Havoc did. Havoc again.
With the Christmassy shit, right?
Yeah, the shit, right.
Yeah.
144, 245, 3 loaded clips. Yeah, that shit.
Yo, let's
4
just go.
niggas die.
Let's go through some of Nas's concept songs. I gave you power.
You got a list for that too?
Yes, sir. You know I do. I have a playlist.
He's prepped.
I have a playlist. It's been on there for a minute. I gave you power.
Lovely.
Last words. Rewind. Fetus. Book of Rhymes. Fried chicken. Like,
hold on, Sin. Would you count
too many?
Sin, would you count Undying Love off the end of I Am as a concept record?
Undying Love.
That's a story more than a concept
record. I'm talking about concept records. Like he's
description
personifying shit. You know what I mean? Like,
where he takes on the personification.
Yeah.
Understood.
So there's that on top of the story joints. I mean, come on, man. Like musically, creatively.
Because Blazing 50 is a story more than it's
I think Lupe does that better.
This is what I mean. Like, if we talk about creative records and all of that, bro, like that's not a conversation. We don't even need to have that. Like,
well, you want to know what it is? Is that I don't think any artist has landed the high marks on the creative records the way that he has. It's not that he does the creative landings, it's that he sticks the landing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know somebody just said Lupe. It's like Lupe doesn't always stick the landing. It's always super conceptual and creative, but he doesn't always stick the landing, as in you don't always grab the song.
That's hard to hear, but I gotta acknowledge it.
And then there's a question about what's his name? I want to answer this question. What's his name? What's that guy's name? Castel, the Ghetto Monk. Where was Jay-Z in the East-West Coast beef? He was nowhere to be found. He was not relevant. He was not even fully entrenched in that. Like 94, 93, 94, 95, that's not his time.
Even though
Pac did around, that's not his time. He wasn't a voice.
But he called a slug because he was Biggie's man.
Pac called him out, right?
Pac called him out like 3 times.
Of course, but he wasn't. He wasn't Mobb Deep and Wu and Nas guys at that time. Come on, like why would he be there?
But Pac got people in New York, so he's hearing how Jay is starting to roll with Big. That wasn't missing that.
I hear what you're saying, but as far as being a rapper,
as far as the
industry,
I wasn't there with it yet.
He ain't got no room in that argument.
Yeah. I mean, Mobb Deep just stepped in because the nigga said something about him on Hit Him Up, and they was like, no, there's gonna be none of that. We about to go get this nigga.
God damn it, where was everybody during the East Coast, West Coast war? Nobody said shit to the West Coast except Mobb Deep. Like, what?
Thank you, Mace. Like, Drop a Gem and LA was really the only people that
no disrespect, but Boot Camp was cozying up to West Coast.
Well, Hov said is like New York been soft to Snoop
crush the buildings.
But Sid, you know part of why that is too. You know, Big had a run-in with Boot Camp at D&D. That's what Kicking the Door was about. And you still recruiting, stupid. That was a boot camp.
Okay.
D&D with Big, and it didn't go well. And like niggas almost pulled steel on each other between his camp and their camp. The third verse on Kicking the Door is about boot camp. And Pac knew that shit too. That's what I'm saying. It's like Pac was lining up with the people that didn't fuck with Big.
I mean, it's the art of war. Pac was, laying the siege on both coasts, and the South.
Yeah.
He was in Decatur when I was a kid.
Atlanta.
So for the people wondering where Jay-Z was, what was a 94, 95 Jay-Z gonna do with Tupac? Like, what are we talking about? Have some respect for Tupac.
Right.
If they would have stepped in, his career would have never even started because he'd been like, "Fam, are you crazy?" Like,
there you go. It's possible.
Yeah, his career don't even take off if he steps to Pac right at a time. People forget Pac was like a double platinum off Strictly for My Niggas and like 3-4 mil off Me Against the World before he even signed to Death Row. He was multi-platinum many times.
Yeah.
They don't acknowledge it, Cole.
Who's this day, Mace? What you talking about?
Who go there?
Tupac is considered the GOAT worldwide. Who's they?
They is the name we always talk about. Yo, you sounded like, come on, man.
Hey, wait a minute.
John came to stir the pot.
You know who we talking about.
John paranoid at this point.
Listen, man, I don't talk about Pac. That's the one guy you won't get me to slander, bro. I ain't doing it.
Yo,
the headaches behind that.
Leroy
I'm staying away from that topic.
Shouts to Leroy Green. He said, Jarv, that would mean Nas has more musical versatility than Jay's range from Reasonable Doubt to the Carters. Respectfully, he does not. Jay also wins in his favorite lane, wordplay, in parentheses, lyricism.
See, okay, so when you're saying wordplay, like in wordplay, does word usage matter to you? Like the words that you're choosing? Because this is what I'm saying. Like Nas uses words that intellectuals use to describe things. And I mean that in a very disrespectful way to other MCs. Like when he's on Cool G Rap, like when he's on Cool G Rap's Fast Life, and he says a perpendicular angle of the clout war. Jay don't talk about that, fam. So it's like when you're at, it's like, oh no, not necessarily.
I was about to be like, yo, Coop, be careful, but he doubled down on the disrespect. He said, fuck off.
I mean that though. But no, for real, how many cats can use the word perpendicular in a bar and make it make sense and make it fit to the point that you still like that shit's fly? That's what Nas does. You know what I'm saying? He make words that we don't normally use fly. It makes them culpable for us and palatable.
And here's the thing. Here's my take on that. Jay uses a more layman's vocabulary, but the how he puts that vocabulary together.
He's more conversational.
What he gets,
it resonates, bro. It resonates.
It's more interpersonal. It's more interpersonal.
But and then he also has a double entendres and triple entendres sometimes. So he gets the most efficiency out of the more layman vocabulary. You know what I mean? That's where Jay gets over, and I'll give him absolute credit for that. That's not that's not me saying it like backhandedly. He absolutely gets the most efficiency out of a vocabulary that's more palatable to more listeners and more people.
Doesn't Method Man do the same thing though, with the entendres and with the words? And if I'm wrong, tell me, because I've asked this to people before. But
I hate to say, yo, I swear I do, bro.
What you mean? What I do now?
What I do?
Don't Meth use the same simple entendres? Like, let's go to his verse on Lemon. Capone and Noriega watching CNN. Black whip, black tits. Y'all ain't see? No. He does all that shit that Jay be doing. Like, I mean, am I wrong? Is it just
again,
not?
It's like you have a rapper.
It's not as good though.
Okay.
Here's the thing. On that line that you just recited, it lands, but it's two separate instances of using the word of the term CNN. It's not in one where it's layered in two or three dimensions. You know what I mean? Yeah. Right.
No, I get
the whole shit is different because it's like a conversation. It's like he's talking to you, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? I kept fitting the dollars till the shit started to make sense. Like it's more. It's.
That's
you're right. It's not
bar, though, Dini. No disrespect.
It is, but that's what I'm saying. Like in the way that Prodigy didn't have to be the super lyrical, smerical nigga, you know what I'm saying? But he still got all his points across. They still all hit rock solid. That's more of the way Jay is. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's what you say, sometimes it's how you say it. Jay just always had a way of saying shit. Even if it wasn't as complicated as, like a Nas.
No, here's what I'll tell you. Jay, when he is being that conversation, when he's being his conversational self, that is best to me, and that's when he is one of the 3 or 4 or 5 greatest MCs of all time, easily in my opinion. Like the guy that's talking legendary players, top 2. Right. The guy talking on the legendary players,
friend or foe,
you draw better be Picasso. You know the best, because this is not so.
But that's what I'm saying. Like
it's hard for anybody to fuck with that guy outside of a prime Nas or Rock.
So that's what I mean when I say when we were at the bar and I was trying to not like tip my hand about tonight. There's such a divide for me as a fan between that person that you're speaking about, and the person that resurfaced as a solo act in 06. That's not the same guy.
Same guy.
And it's like, and I again, as much as they fight with me here, they listen, they hear me say like Post Retirement Jay, it's 50-50 for me. I don't like Kingdom Come. I like American Gangster. I don't like Blueprint 3. Sincere hates me, but I like Magna Carta Holy Grail. He hates me for it, but I like it. I don't like 444. I like the joint he did with Jay Electronica. It's a mixed bag.
Watch the Throne was amazing, so I count that too.
Watch the Throne is
I keep forgetting about Watch the Throne because to me, because Sincere made me feel like the album wasn't as good as it was supposed to be at the time. Now when I say he scoffs at me, but it's like I thought it was really good. And Sincere made me think it wasn't that good, and it just ruined the album for me.
Can I ask you,
since when do you listen to me, bro?
It's fire.
Back then, I don't listen as much now, but
what on Watch the Throne outside of Otis and Niggas in Paris is really like epic or all time great in his.
That's
catalog.
The thing. It's like y'all point about highs and lows or whatever. Like to me, like Watch the Throne is like a guy who's a good mid-range shooter saying on a Tuesday night in NBA League Pass, I'm just gonna take 20 footers all night. 20-footers, and I might catch it. And the niggas in Paris is gonna be a little highlight dunk. You know what I mean?
Joy was crazy, cool.
Okay, you're right.
The joy is fire.
Have a little sugar.
Prime time was fire.
The joint with Frank Ocean on the intro. What was that called again?
What, no Church in a While.
No Church in a While.
Bro.
That's a little windmill. You know,
I thought that crazy. No
that's
Church
a 49 job.
When I first heard it.
Yeah.
But then you gotta have it. New Day. That's my bitch.
But that's what I mean.
That's the shit with RZA,
it's
right?
a lot of good 20-footers, but no.
Murder to Excellence is good.
Murder to Excellence.
Murder to Excellence is fire.
That's on my personal list. I love that song.
Yeah.
But that's 5 joints we're talking about, though. We
already.
Is that enough for it to be considered great? We talking about 5 records, right? We talking about
good.
It is the Dini. Dini just needs some joints.
I need a few joints.
I need a few joints. You know what I'm saying?
I think Watch the Throne is a great album.
But when Jay
kind of have to listen all the way through, it's hard. Like Coop says, to say, yo, this joint. But when I'm riding to Watch the Throne as a complete project, put together, Kanye in his prime, Jay-Z still spitting it. I think it's a great album.
Mace, how old your mommy asking?
What's that? I ain't hear you.
How old are you, Mace? If you don't mind me asking.
33.
Okay, that might be some of the divide, because like cats that I roll with is closer to like your age, it's about 5-10 years younger than me. They feel that way about it too. It's just hard for me to. I think it connects.
This is more like this is like an early 20s album for me. You know how you feel about when them joints drop.
And it feel good. It's a feel good album.
Following. That album is for Ye's following, not for Jay's following. That was really my thing with the album.
I can agree with that.
That's a fair assessment. That's a fair assessment. And I look at it that way. It's like the pre-retirement guy. That guy right there, I'm not putting Nas in front of him. I can't do it. I can't forget all the slander aside. As a fan of the music, I can't do it, because the album for album and just being outside, of course, there's some nostalgia involved in it. Being outside, being immersed in it. Like, there wasn't much like that in New York. There was guys who came in and went, but Jay was New York for a time, bro.
So let me explain that maybe from an outsider's perspective, because I think we talked about this when we all sat down. And one of the things I was explaining to you and Deanie, when you and Deanie told me your ages, I'm like, oh, y'all a couple years younger than me. Sin's a couple years older than me. So, and Sin can probably speak to this too. Like, I'm in Charlotte. I'm 13 years old when Illmatic comes out. Niggas was talking about this album like it was some sort of mythical creature. That's why I wanted to hear it so bad. Like, so you have to understand, there was a type of buzz that was even around him, even when the shit wasn't moving, that was nothing like I seen before. Like in Charlotte, niggas wasn't talking about Big like that until Unbelievable got played on the late night mix. It was Nas and Tupac as far as like your outside hip hop music. Now, if you flash forward to 96, that summer when it dropped, and I'll never forget this, like, it was written was a whole thing. And I didn't even get to Reasonable Doubt really till around my birthday, which was October. And so that is one of those things that always stayed with me, is that was his best project, but the populace, we didn't really start gravitating towards it until the end of the year, because Nas had the summer on lock, Fugees had the summer on lock, the Roots had come out with their best project to date, Redman had Muddy Waters, Outkast had ATLiens. These are all projects that are selling more than Jay's records and getting more noticed. So the fact that you released your best project in that climate and it didn't get recognized or notarized the way that I saw Illmatic get recognized and notarized, I'm not talking about sales, I'm talking about like the way the streets is talking. And I'm in Charlotte, so it's different. You know what I'm saying? And I'm understanding that. But the buzz just wasn't the same. And so that was never lost on me, that when he was outside and they was all outside, well, it wasn't like that for him until Bigger Pac was gone. And I mean that respectfully. It's just hard for me, not about who he is as an MC, because if you're talking about who he is as an MC, no. I know what I heard on Reasonable Doubt in Volume 1. That's some of the best rhyme shit ever. Okay? I'm not discounting that. But what he gets marks and pointers for things that aren't concerned with rap. And it's like, well, he didn't get points and markers for that when Big and Pac was around and when Nas was big, because he wasn't like that and it wasn't a thing. And so I kind of dock him some points for that. Like this aura and this legend that he became. Oh no, that shit didn't like happen out the gate. He had the fucking came for that. It took about 3 or 4 years.
And this is what I'll say in response to that. You're 100% accurate. Like, you're not saying anything that's not well documented or factual, right? But everybody, especially around 96, and Sincere's documented it on the pod, and we've talked about it a lot. Everybody in 96 wasn't going to eat like that, especially a rookie like Jay-Z making the kind of music he was making. Like, we go back to 96, Reasonable, even if it was mafioso rap, sonically, it didn't sound like nothing else that was palatable at that level. Like what Nas was doing in 96, with it was written, sonically was a better album, especially at that time. Again, we always go back to Reasonable. We go back to Reasonable. I'm talking about in real time. It was written, was hitting your belly a little bit better. Pause. What Bad Boy was doing around 96 was landing better. What Pac was doing in 96 was landing better. What Mob was doing in 96, sonically and subject matter, sin, you're going to get mad at me, but as far as digestibility, was landing better than what Jay did. I said it on this show. I said it to you the other night. To me, if you invert his first two albums, or you drop Volume 1 first and then Reasonable, I think he gets received a little bit better, because Volume 1 was he aimed to be more air quote radio. The issue that I always have when we have these conversations is that it's too many people who call themselves rap fans who say things like Jay wasn't air quote outside until such and such passed away.
No, he was outside.
He was on the radio. Every year of his career, he had a big record. It wasn't like he was just some nobody hot lurking in the shadows.
No.
And yes, these great acts, Pac and Big did pass away. Big to me is the totem. He's the standard of New York rap. To me, he's like Apocalypse with all the mutants. Like, you got whatever you are as a New York rapper is Biggie Smalls, unless you a drill rapper. That's a different conversation, right? But Jay still had to be good enough once these people passed away to get that light. Right. Let's talk about a machine. Def Jam didn't wake up and say, "Here, Jay, we want you to be the guy." He had to go and make it happen.
Can I ask you something, Jarv? Do you think Reasonable Doubt's better than the Purple Tape? Because the same things that he's expressing in 96, Ray and Ghost are doing 95 on the Purple Tape. And
that's tough.
I'm going with Reasonable.
I can't.
That's tough.
I don't want to lie to you and say the Purple Tape, but it's not. But it's me. Now I'm wearing my bias cape. I love Reasonable too much, but the Purple Tape, they might not be Reasonable if it wasn't for the Purple Tape. You get what I'm saying?
I think that's where we divide, because it's like, for me, the Purple Tape is one of the 3 best rap albums ever made, and I look at the Reasonable Doubt like a top.
And that's
50.
why I give you the caveat of bias.
Okay.
You get what I mean? But it's like,
my thing.
I just want to be clear that Jay didn't just show up one day. 97, he had joints. 96, he had joints.
98, he took over.
One of his worst singles ever blew up. Who could have predicted that? Hard Knock Life is not his best song. It's not his best. Okay, I hate that song.
But it's anthemic.
But this is what I mean about being outside. It's like, okay, so he blew up. He sold 5 million records. Well, he also put Can I Get On the Rush Hour soundtrack, which was the biggest movie of the summer, which was also really Ja Rule's song. These are things that I take into account when I take his run into account. DMX was outselling him and made a better album than him, in my opinion, that very year. It started out.
Here, and I'm going to say this as a Nas fan, but I think that's where Jay-Z's detractors, they lose me, because it's like you're almost faulting him for being smart enough to make these moves, these marketing moves,
I love these moves,
industry moves, to like hop on the Ja record that's on this huge movie soundtrack.
No, he changed the way business got dealt by doing these things, Sin. That's not what I'm. Go ahead. No, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, no, I'm not trying to say like that. Oh, well, I'm knocking him for that. I'm saying, like, these are things Nas never had to do to sell his 2, 3, 4, 5 million records. You know what I mean? Nas was just able to make the records. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it didn't, even part of what It Was Written got flack for is that, well, quite frankly, it's If I Rule the World and Street Dreams. You know what I'm saying? Because the rest of the album is actually really, really street. So it's like, I'm not knocking Jay for playing the game. Nas is obviously playing the game on It Was Written. I'm saying the way that he played the game, I just didn't see the guys that were of his ilk caliber MC. Well, I didn't see Biggie play it that way. I didn't see Nas play it that way. I didn't see Pac play it that way. And so for his contemporaries that he's compared to, I don't hold him as high because I felt like he played the game a little differently to get to where he was. Not saying he's not the capable MC that they are. He's right there. And I've said this on our podcast. It's like, if I'm calling him the second greatest MC of all time, do you know how many niggas have rapped? Like y'all from New York have rapped?
But see, Coop, you know what the difference is?
You know how many niggas have rapped? I'm putting you at number 2. You know how many niggas have rapped?
And I'm not mad if you say is number 2. Shit, when Mason and I talked about what Billboard did, we said honestly, like if you want to say the de facto was Jay and Nas at the top, and then we could fill out the rest, I'm straight with that.
That's what it should have been at the end of the day.
You know what I mean?
Didn't do nothing for.
But it's like, you say it, play the game. I'm not mad at that. That's a sentiment. He said it himself, right? But what's wrong with playing the game?
No, it's not. It's just he changed the way that the game was played, like right in front of all of our eyes. And this is what I'm saying. Because this is what I mean. The guys before him that were on top, they were on top about their records. It's like,
you don't think Tupac played the game?
I think Tupac, how about this? Tupac is the transitional piece to me that kind of updated the formula. He's the guy that, we can't make records the way these old niggas is making records. That's not going to work for us. Jay is the next guy to kind of change the formula. Jay's the one that really brings the collaborations in. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I look at his stuff a little bit differently. When I
look at Biggie though. That's Biggie blueprint.
That's puffy.
No. Listen to what I'm saying. When I say
he expanded it, but doing the R&B features and all of that.
Oh, no, what I mean.
Definitely Puff.
No, this is what I'm saying. What's the singles on Ready to Die? Juicy.
Big Papa and Juicy.
It's just Big.
And one more chance.
One more chance remix.
Warning. No. That's Big. Hypnotize is what? It's Big. Like most of Big's big records. No. It's Big. A lot of Jay's big records. People involved. Money, cash.
In a sense, but in between. Hold on. But in between those big records, there's the Junior Mafia album. There's the Total features. There's the 112 features. That all there's all pieces to a puzzle that lead to a certain type of record being made.
I agree with that. No.
And before that, it was the Mary J. Blige remix.
No, Biggie did all of those things, but what I'm saying is Biggie had those solo records that put him there too. No, he got to get money. How about this? Jay came into the game on Ain't No Nigga. That's a guest appearance, Foxy. Like his first single had assistance. And so what I'm saying is where he kind of changed the game. No. Pac did Brenda's Got a Baby by yourself. You know what I'm saying? He did Keep Your Head Up, I Get Around by himself. Nas did It Ain't Hard to Tell, The World Is Yours. So that's what I'm saying, where Jay changed things. And for
I Get Around wasn't by himself, though. I Get Around, like, what, Shout Out and the other homie.
Yeah,
the Dime out of 15 Cent nigga, that nigga. So it was a couple niggas on the record, too.
No, you're right about that. No, correction. You're right about that.
But it's like but again, this is my overarching argument. Now that we're having a serious conversation, I think that as rap fans, we got to get out of the habit of looking like there's one way to approach greatness. Like what Nas did, what Hov did, what Pac did, what Big did, what M did, what 50 did. Everybody did it differently.
Okay, so Jar, but to what you said, what they did when you talk about what Jay did before didn't go anywhere before you. What they did before Jay became a thing didn't go anywhere for me either. You feel what I'm saying? But I still have that in my mind. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not knocking the hustle. I'm very much like you in the sense
you're different. There's a lot of people in that chat that's knocking the hustle. They don't understand what's going on.
No, yeah, I'm holding on the same way that you're holding on to a degree. It's just not to be funny. I'm about 3 years older than you, so I'm holding on to some 93, 94, 95.
Now that matters. Yeah, experience matters.
Yeah. That's a fact.
That matters.
You know what I mean? I look, and that's how I look at the game, bro. I'm like, y'all want to be mad at whatever, but let's not expunge facts. That's really my overarching argument. When he did it, regardless of who passed away or not, let's not act like New York still wasn't active after Biggie died. Because again, one minute you say Jay-Z had no competition, not you, cool, but people will say Jay-Z had no competition, but then in the same breath, you'll mention DMX. New York was active. It might not have been Biggie Smalls active, and that's a shogun. But you had guys who was lingering.
Hey, Jar, if you want to know it, I am knocking him for the competition. I am. I'm not even going to lie.
I mean, the competition wasn't 94, 95, 96. Sin to tell you, I can't even with a straight face argue that. You know what I'm saying?
I can't lie.
But it's like, he did it.
Like, think about this. X was his biggest comp. It's like Nas had to deal with Big and Pac. It's like, that be on my...
But that's not his fault.
It's not.
Again, if he was whack, we would have got him the fuck out of there. That's really the point.
No, he's stupid nice Jarv, he always been stupid nice. When I heard imaginary players like on the mixtape, I was like, oh, they didn't put this nigga in jail. He about to be a problem. I thought
there you go. There you go.
I was like,
and I felt like the S. Carter era of his career is where I get real fickle. I rarely quote Jay-Z bars as pre-retirement because to me there's Jay-Z then there's S. Carter. That guy, again, it's a mixed bag of bars. There's the features he did with the Jeezys and the Rosés, and then there's Hollywood on Kingdom Come. Whoa, get that out of here.
Here's where he changed things, and I didn't always think that it was for the better. Do you remember the For the Fam joint, For a Meal? That shit was crazy.
Yeah.
Remember when he's like, Rockaware 80 mil in like 18
months.
You can bullshit
with rap. Motherfucker.
When I said that, I said, he done fucked the whole game up for everybody. Niggas is not about to make the same quality of music, and that's what happened.
But that's how. But he again, I said it on the show, and I said it to you the other night. He did that with raps.
No, I'm not knocking the hustle.
No,
I'm just telling you.
I see what Coop is saying because I felt the same way about everybody running with the I don't write my rhymes shtick in the early to mid 2000s. As soon as they found out Jay-Z doesn't actually write, he just memorizes them and thinks them. Then everybody thought that they could just go and do that because they were like, oh, the best rap in the game does it. Why can't I? I'm about to be the next best. And I'm sorry, no, you're not going to be the next best.
He did mess up the quality of the game. Hands down.
You know what I mean? So I kind of get what he was saying, but it's not really his fault. It's just like the game chose to follow.
He birthed a lot of Harold Miners and J.R. writers. I got it.
You know what Jay did? Jay made other niggas think that they were as good as him and they could do what he do. And it's like, no. Only he's pulling that off. He's that talented. Right. You can't do that. Jeezy, you can't do that. Ross, you can't do that. Y'all not Jay on the mic. Jay was fundamentally sounding nice on the mic before he started doing all that. He was as nice as Big and Pac and Nas before he started doing all that. So when you birth a legion of people that ain't even on your level, you know what I'm saying? It's like, no, I did take some issue with that, but I don't know how much I can hold that against him in this conversation, like hearing all of your sentiments and thoughts, though, just truthfully.
This is a fire conversation, like here. I hate that it has to come to a close. We got to do this again soon, but I'm still not giving Nas that. I'm sorry. Can't do it. Can't do it. As a fan, I can't do it.
Mace, you wanna wrap up the last super chats, or
we got a couple super chats on deck. Let me see. I think the guy's name is actually Ra, aka Shy. Jay-Z doesn't have a distant relatives. That's for better or worse, depending on who you ask.
I mean, again, that's fine with that's a point for Jay to me.
Right.
Whatever.
Ra also mentioned that Nas as a teenager talked investment in stocks. You know, Nas was dropping gems from the back in the day.
That's actually not totally accurate. I mean, he was talking about it, but the bar starts off be having dreams that I'm a gangster.
They're gonna say that Jay was biting off of him with 444. Nas did it first. The L Web 100 said that Jay chased too many trends ever to be GOAT, which is, I think that's pretty valid. From chasing the Bad Boy sound in 97 and then jumping on DMX back in the 90s. I think that's a black mark for Jay in modern time. When you hear those, them Casio beats from that era, you be like, man, I don't want to hear this shit. You know what I mean?
But I mean, he on the flip side of that, there was a Timberland and Neptune's era. He did a lot for those guys. On the flip side, it's a catch-22. But again, when you're the trendy guy, you're gonna have some misses. That's just the reality of the situation.
But and also, to be fair, and I might get some tomatoes thrown at me, but everybody loves It Was Written, but It Was Written thematically, sonically was way different than Illmatic. He was kind of following the trend that music was going in at the time. So no,
and he made that amazing album in the process.
That I'm not saying it was. I'm giving it its props. I'm just saying as a counterpoint to saying Jay was following trends. Everybody followed some type of trends, right? Even Nas.
That's fair.
You got to give the people what they want, man.
I mean, I would say with the Hit Boy era, he's kind of doing it again. He's not leaning into a super boom bappy bag. He's a little more balanced sonically.
Yeah.
What you got to say about that, Coop? I see you shaking in the chair there.
I think he is in a different bag sonically because I think he stopped caring about that core fan base that Illmatic and kind of castigated him for It Was Written. Because Sin probably remembers is like niggas in the street was talking about It Was Written like the record was sweet or something, like the setup and shoutouts and live rap wasn't on there because you know he's singing on the fucking car with Lauren and shit, and it's like niggas was acting like the album was soft or something. You know, and so I feel like, no, that's the talk. I can remember talking to niggas to be like, yeah, he rhyming his ass off. The shit just a little sweeter than the last. No, it's like, fam, him and Havoc just did the setup. Like him and P's trading bars on live niggas. It's like, you ain't hard to you. So it's like perception of it at the time because, like Sin said, well, he wasn't about. You know, people have to understand. It Was Written came out in the time where it's like, well, if you had the talent that Nas had and you didn't sell the first time, you better have sold the second time. You wasn't gonna have much of a rap career.
But now to your point about playing the game.
No, he played the game because he had to. It didn't sell shit. No,
the game is the game. Bad Boy kind of ruined the game in a way. That's why Jay sounded the way he sounded. The game that Nas was playing in '96 was not the game Jay was playing in '98. Thank you, Bad Boy. Here's
what happened. And Sid, maybe you can help me with this. Illmatic comes out April of '94. Well, Ready to Die comes out in June. Everything that Nas had built, Bad Boy tore down like 3 months later.
The sound was the sound, though, Coop.
No, that's what I'm saying. But the sound that's on Illmatic.
Yeah, I think there was that small window of time where like everybody looked to Nas as the next golden boy, and then like he was gonna usher in this new purer era, and you know in counterpoint to the West Coast, to what the West Coast was doing, Nas was really gonna be sort of that bastion for the East Coast rap, and then Biggie came and took parts of that West Coast formula, and then everybody was like, oh, well, never mind. I guess like we're just gonna do this from here on out. You know
Can I call a quick 20-second timeout? Miss LB writing in cap says people paid hard-earned money for their super chats to be heard. We understand that. And you know what? If we missed a super chat, I'm sorry, but I know you also saw this bill that we was having for the last 40 minutes.
Hold on. About this. Miss LB, bunch of super chats ready. Come to according to hip hop.
You're stupid. It's LB. Come on.
It's LB. I know we usually catch him, LB, but this is a little bit different than usual, LB. You know we usually catch
every drop.
She be showing me
this guy.
Pull-ups like
Get him out of here.
Come on, bro.
And Marcos, all bad. I seen your first super chat up there. All bad, man.
And the thing is, we have a list of the super chats. I know we do a whole mailbag segment, bro. Like, don't do that. Like, really, don't do that. Like, Miss LB, you just became a Karen, bro. Like, you know what I mean? I don't like that. You just ask for our supervisor, and I don't appreciate that. I don't like that.
Y'all chat like y'all niggas showing out because Coop here. Y'all don't know how to act in front of company.
No, you know what it is? We usually read all the supers, but again, we took a deep dive on some East Coast rap shit. These things happen. You know what I mean? And again, the mailbag is coming soon. Calmate.
We got you.
Rob, aka Shad. Thank you, Mace, for clearing that one up for me. Jay-Z's biggest record on Ready to Die has Big and Nas's voice.
His least successful album, I know.
Oh God, Mace.
Hey, look, we're gonna wrap this up though. This shit is fun. We could talk about this shit for hours, but we just did about 3 hours. This is the longest stream we've done on a Monday night since we started doing these Monday night streams.
That's a fact.
Cool. We appreciate you pulling up.
No, thank you for having me. I appreciate y'all.
It was welcome to come back whenever you feel like.
Well, let's talk about how, like, even this kind of happened. You and me have been going back and forth for some months about doing this, but as circumstance would have it, I was waiting on my man, and I literally drifted over to y'all, not even knowing, and then I'm picking up my phone, and you would hit me like, where you at? And I'm like, oh, shit, I'm only 20 feet from these niggas, and so, this is probably supposed to happen, because I was 20 feet from y'all the whole damn time, and then it was just like, no, let's go ahead and grab a drink and politic and work this shit out. So,
thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
Coop in New York linked up with the rap round table.
The highlight of the trip was when I was walking and the bum was like, is that rap round table according to hip hop? I was like, yeah, nigga.
That was crazy. That was crazy.
Yeah, that shit was wild. So, much love.
That. I didn't even know that happened.
Shouts to, by the way,
that happened.
Shouts to Mario, shouts to Wayne, shouts to my man from Kenya. I told you I was going to shout y'all next time. Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? Hey, look, Deanie.
It's with the memory of an elephant.
Real quick, make sure y'all tap in. I know you guys are going to be live on Wednesday, right? Cool.
Oh, you talking to me? Yeah.
You guys are going to be live on Wednesday? Y'all doing something before then?
38 Special and Rome Streets just dropped projects today.
Oh yeah, I definitely tapped in. We kind of obligated to tapping in, so you know what I mean. Right. But we're gonna circle back and talk about that later in the week.
Right. But, we probably are too.
I think that room. I like that room.
Already?
I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like that. Not a meth joint.
I ain't get to the meth joint. I ran to the room first because I'm biased.
No. The
meth joint on the track.
No, he's a feature. The meth feature.
Oh, the meth track, fire.
Yeah.
And the things did you hear? You heard the album, Cool? When you hear the album, the sequencing and the leading into the meth track, 2 thumbs up.
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay. I'm on that when we get done here. Then shit.
Say less. Cool. We appreciate you pulling up. Tell Mike D to come next time.
We're gonna work it out. We're gonna come up top and put it together. We'll politic and put a dual event together or something.
Say less. I'm with the bill. Appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate y'all.
All right, cool. Come through, man.
Yes, sir. Be safe.
Salute.
Yes, sir.
All right, Deanie, take us home, bro.
I know the vibes, man.
1 second.
Oh, wait.
Nah, I don't want them to come at us for missing any more super chats. Ra, aka Shy, they've been consistent with the super chats. They said Nas as a teenager talked about investments in stocks. Just wanted to point that out, which is very true. Yes, talking that grown man shit. Anyway, I'm sorry.
And again, whatever
we
super
promise
chats
we gonna get back to y'all joints, man.
The mailbag will be the super chat edition. Make sure y'all pull up episode 66. Super chat edition of the mailbag, because we don't miss people here, and we talk to y'all too damn much to front on y'all. Come on,
that's a fact. So we had a lot of people in here tonight, so
that's a fact.
Our apologies, man.
All right, we've been here for a good time and a long time.
Man, I'm in the doghouse, guys.
Special shout out to Sincere the Rap Snobs, but shout out to Macito the Voice. Special shout out to motherfucking Jav the point guard. You know what I'm saying? I'm Dean the Balance, a little tired, but this is what we do here. Shout out to Coop and the Court and the Hip Hop for pulling up. Spent some good time with us. And we're gonna catch y'all soon. Episode 66 is on the way. We cooking, y'all looking. Fuck with us. We the Rap Round Table, and we out of here.
Yes, sir.